Recording in progress. That means welcome to the Fireside Fables.
Oh, fresh out the gate.
Yeah, that was really anticlimactic in all of the right ways. It really, truly was. So
we gotta set those expectations low.
well, I mean, it's true. What if this actually ends up making it in? Either way, guys, it's good to see you tonight. Welcome.
Good to see you too, Brendan.
You know, it's gonna be a blast. It really is. Sean, you know what time it is.
Muster them chuckles. Yeah. All right. Oh, here we go. Game face. Did you hear about the invisible man that married the invisible woman?
No, Sean.
Their kids were nothing to look at.
I can see that.
They're getting better.
They are.
They're getting better.
That was probably the best one.
Yeah, they're getting better.
Could you see that, Jeff? Could you really see that?
Well,
Oh, boy, howdy.
It's free use. If I only use the first 6
I
notes,
like
it's
that after the fact, Sean just mutes as though he's literally dropping the mic and walking away.
yeah, really.
Yeah.
He
It's
says, "My
pretty
job is done."
excellent. I have done my job. All right.
Okay.
Well, that being said, I think we're gonna jump into this episode 5 of the Fireside Fables at this point. So with that,
already?
tonight's 5, buddy.
Hopefully
Yeah.
this week with 70% less chaos.
Well, you know, no
Hopefully
guarantees.
With 100% less death saving rules.
I was to say the same thing.
Well,
I'm very
you
okay
know.
with that.
Yep.
You know how it goes. All right. Either way, last time on the Fireside Fables, the group had made it out of the Dusk Mines, only to meet a rather foreboding and unwelcoming welcome party. Yeah, an unwelcome party. There you go.
And one real dude.
Yeah, massive one.
He heard.
And what had happened was one of the individuals actually went over and unlocked the door to the foreman's trailer to release a giant crap sandwich, which just made things all the worse. This was in the shape of a knoll, a rather beastly knoll, that allowed all of these hoodlums to end up running for the hills. Well, most of them. A couple of them you guys took out. You dispatched the knoll, but not before it dealt some pretty nasty blows to the party, causing a need for you guys to rest. And you did this after you reconnected with Uladar Hugh, who took you to one of his safe houses, and you met the little noblin named Samich. And his goblin father, Orange, and his gnome mother, very, very old gnome mother, Patacat. And from that point, learned a couple of new things, as well as gaining access now to this new district. A district that contains not just the Twilight Theaters, but also Castle Dusk itself. As you were able to get past some of the guards to get into this district, you ended up tracking down the Winds of Good Fortune, a casino that daylights as a consulting business. And while you were there, one of the individuals who had escaped from you approached the front door, at which point you charged after a failed charm person attempt, and did more battle within the the front of this little casino area, all but one of you going unconscious in the fight.
And there was much terrified screaming.
Very, very much so. Only
On
to
and
have-
off in the game and out of the game. That was
only
yeah.
to have a fiery flash come from the rapier at Cal's side, which brought him back to 1 HP, and he stood up and took care of the final enemy within the chamber, saving Charlatan and allowing the party to get a quick case of the joint in, and then run to the hills, where they were able to succeed and in how should I put this? Arranging a hideaway place for themselves, another safe house, as it were, via the use of a third personality that Charlatan has. One, let's see, Jag Oceanus, as we have found out. And now, with the silence of the innkeeper bot within the master suite, multiple cheese boards and bottles of wine sent up by the dumbwaiter, the group now, mostly at very low single-digit hit points, takes this moment to lick their wounds, which is where we now come in at this maybe 7:45, 8 o'clock hour in the morning, by the way.
Oh, yay.
On Lealdi the 16th of Asuni. It has not even been a full 24 hours from when you have first met within the Dusk Fair, but that time is actually quickly approaching. And so, setting the scene of the room, the dawn sun is beginning to get to that point now where it beats over the walls of the Dawnside districts and begins to shine into this room. And each of you share this. I mean, some of you are just puffy-lipped, swollen-eyed, bruised, battered, dried blood on your faces and bodies, just not looking great. That collective glance at each other, eating quietly the cheese, meat, and crackers, and opening bottles of wine. Over to you guys.
Is Charlatan, what mode is Charlatan in right now?
Well, if the room is closed and locked, he is Charlatan. He is his white undead self.
Mm-hmm.
And by white, I mean alabaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not just Caucasian.
Not just Caucasian.
Not the D&D monster.
No. You can call him Al.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he's just sitting there, kind of staring off into nothing on the side of a bed.
Cal will kind of look over at Charles and say, if you don't mind me asking, how many other people do you have in there?
Just the three.
Kind of watching him real closely on this answer just to see if I can gauge him at all.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Roll an insight check. And Charlatan, I want you to roll a deception check or a persuasion check. You know which one you're rolling, and I'm pretty sure that I know too.
I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
I rolled really well, but I don't think I beat him still. I rolled a 23.
Actually, what you note is quite the solemn look on Charlatan's face. It's less play and more contemplative. You don't see any indication of a lie. There is no movement of hands towards the face. There's no involuntary twitch of an eye or a lip. He doesn't move to cover his face in any way. Usually indicators of truth.
Well,
Your manifestation of Mr. Oceanus is unbelievable. I
has some major.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Tobias.
No, not at all. It's like I'm like you, I'm wordless. I cannot imagine what situation you found yourself in to be. I assume you have to be kind of close, correct? to and maybe this is the wrong time to talk about the mechanics, but I mean, I can't imagine what you went through to have such a high profile figure to be in that position.
It wasn't so much what I went through as it
What they went through?
what he went through.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that anything had happened to
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
any of the family.
No one has. That's why I don't like to use him.
And that will it'll be interesting to see if that ever catches up with us.
Well, it saved our bacon, that's for sure.
For now.
For now, bought us some time. And
Do we?
Turpin's leaning up against the wall, just kind of looking a little confused and like, who? Like, what's so important about this guy? Like, I don't understand. Why is everybody all so somber?
He's like he's like the world's richest company owner. Like, you've heard of gosh, I can't even
Yeah,
you know
what's
how
an in-world
companies
example?
yeah.
He's him.
He's him.
Yeah.
Well, that explains a lot.
You know how
Yeah.
companies are set up to trade goods, right?
Well, yeah.
Jag is like the head of the family that owns the largest of those.
Oh,
Yeah, so like, you know, those potatoes that were stolen were probably his at some point.
You're talking wealth of nations.
Yes.
Well.
Maybe, yeah, that might be an exaggeration, but it's the way nations are going these days. Probably not.
Some of the smaller nations,
Yes.
you could probably buy a city state if they really wanted to. They
That's a weird state of the union. I have transferred all of our wealth into potatoes.
Join me, comrades.
Spuds unite.
Potato democracy.
They call it Tatergate.
Tatergate.
And everyone has to say aye.
Potatoes.
We love mash them, stick them in the stew.
That's right.
Well,
Gosh. Yeah, so, like, you know, Sebastian, a bard, traveling, was probably okay. Elias, cleric, you know, clerics exist. There's only one Jag. And to be fair, like, obviously the other people, there's only one of them as well, but like...
but yeah.
I mean, now there's kind of two, but not. But yeah,
Well,
I get what you mean. I get
No,
what you mean.
there's not two.
No,
There's zero.
Yeah.
that's
So-
an interesting way to put it.
Well,
Yeah, because
It's just his memories.
an imprint? Yeah.
still,
That's all it is.
Are you ever compelled by those personalities to act or do something?
Have you ever been compelled by a memory?
Yes. So, this is just me thinking, I don't think they're not gone. They live on through you. In a very different sense than just memory.
It's a grave responsibility.
Yeah. I don't envy you.
Although he does have access to large amounts of money, it would seem.
You see Charlatan start shaking his head.
no.
I suppose I could. If you're asking if the thought had ever occurred to me to just pick one and stay that way and live my life,
Sebastian.
if it can even be called that. But I have questions that need answering, and so do they.
Hmm.
And besides,
I know what that's like.
acting is Jag. As you could tell by our present surroundings, has a tendency to draw attention. If Sebastian is a squall, Jag is a hurricane.
Yep.
I wouldn't have taken him on if, well, the need was great.
It was.
This charcuterie board is amazing.
Turpin has one all to himself.
Yeah.
Sitting there just munching.
You guys ever had a charcuterie board before?
Hey, and gentlemen, I need to apologize. I felt with that last battle, I should have done more. I withheld some spells that I could have used, thinking we had something else coming, but that was the first time I'd ever been in a battle like that, to tell you the truth, where I actually go under, and I apologize, and I'm going to try not to do that again.
I think we were all, it was a very tough situation. We were all, that wasn't a fight that I think we necessarily wanted to get into in that way. But I think that if we hadn't acted in the way that we had, we would have come to regret it.
Well, you, Charlatan, you just by stabilizing us, you saved us.
Yes.
You gave us a chance. And really, guys, I know we're working together now. We probably should at some point talk about tactics, because if we would have known where we put our potions, for instance, on our bodies, we could have woken somebody up. But we were on the fly. We didn't have time.
Is that the plan then?
Well, now we can have that talk later. I just think if we just all know. I think there's other tactics we can use, certainly. But I think right now we have bigger urgency than that. But just knowing everyone keeps a potion here is really helpful in case we don't have one. I mean, if nothing else, that'll save us from a similar situation in the future. And I think we have.
Y'all are having,
Mm-hmm.
while y'all are talking and having this conversation, Arlen is sitting on the edge of the chair that he's in, and his head is in his hands, and he's kind of shaking a little bit. And he looks up and he says, "Did you see the look on his face? That man that I killed, did you see the look when we went through that door?" He didn't expect to die that way. And he just rubs his hands through his hair, and he's just, you can tell he's like really, really, really struggling with the idea that he killed, even though he was the guy that had beat us so handily in the mine, and he was obviously not our friend. You can tell that this is a real struggle for Arlen.
Yeah. Cal will kind of go over to Arlen and put his hand on his shoulder and say, "I know it's difficult, but if you're struggling with it, weigh your life versus his. And which one do you think is going to be more important? Which one do you think will be able to do more good in this world?" Now, we don't know.
That I had to.
Go ahead.
I understand that I did what I had to do, but I just can't get my mind around the fact that I just took his life like that.
I understand.
It's happened before, and I can't make peace with it.
I'll be honest, I hope you never make peace with taking another person's life. It's not something to do lightly.
I agree. Well said, Cal.
I mean, even in the moment, I mean, I will still think about the last of those fighters, he was there getting ready to punch Charlatan out. And what I did to end that, I mean, that will live with me for the rest of my life. But I know that the people here I believe to be good, and I believe that that's more important than someone who is helping conspire to defraud the government in this city.
And we are trying to help that little boy, so
Right.
Yeah.
But I need my senses. Ever since these things have started happening, even since Corinth, I've been completely distracted. And
In what way?
well, I had to kill somebody in Corinth too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in self-defense. I was making sure that others were safe and that I didn't succumb too, but I can't clear my head to really think straight since all these things have been happening around me.
It's understandable. I don't have the answer for you.
I don't know what I need to do. I need training somehow, or to focus. I need to be able to focus.
Have you tried yoga?
Yogurt. Oh.
It clears the mind. I love yogurt. It's wonderful.
Oh,
Wonderfully cool
yeah.
and delicious.
Power of the Schwartz. Sorry, I couldn't go there.
Wow.
Oh, no.
I am your cousin's uncle's sister's boyfriend's roommate's friend. And that makes us nothing at all.
No, just jokes aside about the yoga thing. I mean, something that has helped me in the past is, I don't know, take some time and think on it, meditate potentially. I know you've seen me do it, on our travels along the road, just to try and start processing it.
Well, seems to me we've had a couple disruptions. I think, Charlatan, you act so distraught right now. In Ireland, you're looking so. And then Turpin, what happened with you? That smell? No offense.
What smell?
Earlier, when you were yelling at me, there was a strong sense of sulfur coming off of you.
Was there?
There was.
That's odd.
You're not aware of it?
I know I was angry.
Yeah?
Yeah, about that. I didn't address it at the time, but what you said wasn't very kind.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I just want you to understand that I'm here to help, and yelling at your comrades simply because something didn't go your way is not a way to treat someone.
Comrades. Is that what we are? I mean, we're a group of fellas that have decided to kind of do the same thing, I suppose. Although sometimes I wonder how focused we are on actually finding Franklin and instead of solving the world's problems. But I mean, we've been running around together for a little bit, but it's not even been a day. I just met you guys.
I know. And that's what I'm saying. Treating people like a jerk just because something happened to you comes off very childish.
Well, nothing's happened to me. It's Franklin that we have to find. We didn't find him at the mines. We talked about it. We decided that was the best chance for us to find him, and he was not there. And so apologies if I was upset about that.
Yeah, you should. Because while he wasn't there, we were moving to the next location where he might be to be able to find him. But yelling at me just because we didn't find him there at that moment did nothing but potentially sabotage your own ability to help him.
So is that what it means to be a paladin? Is to fight alongside people who don't hurt your feelings?
No.
Because I'm
To
still
be a
trying to
paladin-
figure that out.
To be a paladin is to help people in need, and we were helping people in need.
Terrapin. Do you really wish to know if the boy is alive or not?
Well, yes. I mean, isn't what this is all about?
There's a way to do that. And you see, Charlatan, they give you like a very sober, weary look.
I mean, that would have been nice to know sooner.
You
But
already
yeah.
know what it is, Terrapin.
Right. As the light bulb. The only problem with that is time. If we're in a hurry, then we need to use what we've got at the moment. If we're willing to wait a month to find out if Franklin's alive or not, then by all means, let's get on the list and go over to the gate and find out.
I can get
But
us
I don't
in
think Beatrice will be okay with that.
I can get us in earlier than that.
Using Mr. Oceanus, or you got some other kind of trick up your sleeve?
You let me worry about that.
Well, I do think you're right, though. Franklin is our priority.
Hmm.
But we still need to get to know each other. We need to know what is going on. And that brings me to Cal. Cal, something happened to you. You were interrupted. Could you give us some insight? Because it was, you look like you were having an argument with yourself. You walking away, walking back, walking away.
I'm not quite sure what happened. I'll be 100% honest, but I suspect it has something to do with the sword I've been carrying.
Which you've
Insight
never-
check.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Get him. No, I'm not proficient, so I'll let you.
22.
Nice.
Yeah. As far as you can tell, according to all my micro expressions, I'm telling the truth.
He doesn't pick his nose. He doesn't. Okay. Sorry, Brendan. We're just picking on you.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, we're in
I rolled
trouble.
a
He doesn't
natural
silently
one.
look at me in mouth, I'm lying.
Yeah.
Oh.
But you've never unwrapped it. You've never unwrapped it that we've seen.
I haven't. I guess something that you should know about me and why I'm on the run. You know what my previous job and role was, right, Timaeus?
Yep.
To hunt down and bring back members of the Mercurial Order. Well, it wasn't my first raid, but one of the first ones where I was in charge. We were tasked to hunt down a particular order member of the Mercurial. And whenever we had subdued the target, other members showed up, and we're going to execute him on the spot. Now, I'm not a fan of the Mercurial Order in any sense, but that goes against what's right. No trial, no due process, nothing, just an execution there. So I stopped it to do what was right, and he looks at Turpin. And frankly, I got my butt beat by the other members of my order. But I managed to escape with the help of Syl, who, if you remember, was with us in Corinth. But I managed to take the Mercurial Order's sword before he was killed eventually during the scuffle. And I've just kind of been carrying it since. And Arlen, you remember me talking about the dream I had last night?
I do.
Part of that dream was a flashback from his point of view right before we stormed him. And that's, I think, why it was so troubling to me in such a different way. And then
I can see that.
during this last fight, I don't know, something happened. I could feel myself slipping away, and I don't know, just an extreme warm presence just went through my bones. And then as we were trying to leave, because Charlotte and I was right in agreement with you, we should have gotten out there as soon as we could have, but something said no. We needed to stay. And I went with that feeling. I decided to trust it in a moment. And this time I'm happy I did, because we found what we were looking for, at least more information to where we can help find Franklin. But that's what I know right now. I don't know. And he'll start to unwrap the sword and show it to everyone.
As the cloth begins to come, Cal, you notice its shape, it's heavier. This is no longer a rapier, but instead a narrow longsword.
Change
That's new.
shape? Wow. That's crazy.
Do you mention that, or is that?
Yeah, okay. You know, I've been referencing this as a rapier, and I swear that this was a rapier yesterday. So I think there's something to say that there's something going on with this.
Boy,
but I don't
howdy.
know what yet.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to know more about it, I might be able to help.
Potentially, I'd like that, but
I know we.
I think what we need to do right now, though, is honestly figure out what we're going to do next.
Yep. We need to look at the things we found. We have some things we haven't even opened yet, haven't we?
Yeah, and
There are
the other
letters
thing
we haven't looked at.
Yeah,
Interpret
there are letters. We also need to figure out how to get in contact with Eliza.
Eliza.
No, that's the wrong person in my notes.
What's her head? Snuck through the window.
Yeah, Hazel.
Hazel. Well,
Eliza is the one that took the payments.
Right.
you know what I'm thinking, guys, and I'll explain it more later. I think we need to walk up to the castle and turn ourselves in. And I'll explain to you why in a little bit. But I think before, I know you think that's crazy. I know. Yeah.
Perhaps we should sleep on that first.
Okay. I'll give you my reasoning. But why don't we look at these letters? Who's got the letters? Who had those?
I think who was it that opened the box? It was Arlen, wasn't it?
Arlen. Yeah, Arlen opened the box. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll take out the-
Arlen would have the letters.
Now,
Take out the letters.
the question is, if this is evidence and we're discovered with it, or we have to go through a trial process if we get caught or whatever happens, do we want to open all of these, or do we want to open some of them?
I think you're all forgetting something.
What's that?
We're supposed to go on trial very soon, aren't we?
Yeah.
We were supposed to be questioned
Mhm.
about what happened at the Dusk Fair.
soon.
Right
That-
about now, probably.
That hour has yet to arrive, unless my math is incorrect, but it is close.
I'm not against the idea of turning us in, but I don't like it
Well,
because I would be afraid that whatever evidence we find would simply disappear.
no, I agree with you. That's a concern. Well, let's see what evidence we do have. Arlen, what do you think? What we got?
Well, I think we should look for any information that we could find within the letters.
Go ahead.
Yep. You want to just pick one? Are they addressed or anything? Or are they
They're not addressed.
interesting? But they're sealed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
And how many were there?
7 of them.
Ooh, wow. And there was the note that was with them, correct, guys? Is that
Well,
yeah, we
had,
read the note. Then
well, and yes, we also had some books of payments that
yes?
some that had already happened and some that had yet to be.
Yeah, you haven't read all of the books yet, that second set of books.
Okay.
There was a note to Marjorie that we did read that was at the bottom of that box.
yeah,
Actually,
Marjorie.
To Marjorie
Charlotte-
from Mantis.
Charlatan, I think I know what we can do to at least get in contact with
Hazel.
with Hazel. Is if Sebastian would come out again, you might be able to go back to Sandwich's place and communicate the need for him to pass along
Well,
our
Sebastian
location.
can move
Yeah.
across the city freely. So
True.
yes.
Yeah,
That's true.
while the rest of us stay here.
Interesting.
At least let them know where we are so that we could meet and give them any information and tell them all that we've learned.
We can
What
do
was
that.
what did the note of Marjorie say again?
Something about
Let me see. if
Second
I've got it
phase
here.
of the operation.
yeah,
yes.
and it mentioned
He's-
mentioned Donatus Clay.
No, Donatus Flay was one of the names in the set of books.
in the set of books. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second
Inside of the
operation,
books, there's a
Right.
physical description of 2 people, a man named Donatus Flay and a woman named April Muldoon, who were both set to win thousands of gold and did per the orders of Mammy.
Who we're assuming is
Marjorie.
margarine. I can't believe
Fake
it's not
butter.
Okay.
The note said something about second phase of the operation, trying to get the
Yes.
city to lose confidence in its leadership.
Right.
Correct.
and we did
That's correct.
communicate that to what's his face, the guy that got us to Sandwich in the carriage.
Got it.
Yeah.
So they know
Uladar.
about Uladar. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
they know about that part at least right now.
Okay.
But I think this will at least, potentially what's in these letters. Well, I mean, we shut down a major way for them to move and launder money.
Yep.
All right, let's go through the letters one by one. See what we got.
Okay. So first, want to look out the outside and see if there's any distinct markings or any kind of clues on the outside
Okay.
of the
Yeah,
letters
roll-
before I open them.
Normally this would be perception, but as you're like fine tune, like
Yeah, he's-
moving your fingers over, you're investigating these. So go ahead and roll an investigation check for me.
Hmm.
7.
Woof.
Your mind just
Hmm.
shifts back
I'm
to
helping
the look
him.
on the man's face.
You sitting behind him and running your fingers with his fingers.
Yeah.
Ghost. Oh man.
Full,
It's the-
full
it's-
ghost
I tell you
group.
what. Why don't we do this? Why don't we
Pottery.
who's- yeah.
Arlen,
The
if you
pottery-
want-
Turpin Patrick Swayze or is Cal Patrick Swayze? I don't know.
No. He said he was helping.
Okay,
He
so
said he was
Cal
helping.
is
I'm
Patrick
just watching.
Swayze in this moment. All right, all right.
Roadhouse. Okay, now
Can Turpin's
Just
arms even
kick
get
the
around
letters.
Arlen?
I don't think so, which makes it funnier.
No, so why
They're
don't we
not
do
gonna
this,
let you
Arlen?
concentrate.
Why don't
Go
you
ahead.
inspect? Why don't you inspect each envelope and then hand it to me, and then I can open it and read it and give it a pass over.
Okay. So
So got the first one.
the first one.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and open it and read it.
All right. So as you open the letter, it actually lists out the failings. Let's see. It's the failings, the fraud, and crimes of Broddard Silverpick, owner and operator of the Duskmine Shafts.
Of Silverpick. Okay.
And it goes through and talks about his negligence to upkeep the mines.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're
physically
joining,
felt that.
yeah.
that's
We're joining this
that's-
class action suit. That's right.
That's a pretty damning letter. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It also talks about tax evasion from him.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a
So-
star next to that one in case that comes in handy.
It also describes a mutually beneficial relationship financially between he and Eliza Fairchild.
And she's the one that we heard the rumor about. I wonder how much she'll benefit from
to
what
be
happened.
taking insurance money.
Yeah, something about insurance from what happened in the. Yeah.
Okay. Cody, give the second letter a pass over. See what you
Okay.
think.
With that class action lawsuit against the mines in about
Yeah.
8 years,
There we go.
we'll
Yeah.
get 3 copper.
Yep.
Yeah.
23 on the second letter.
Yeah, as you're taking a look over it, you've kind of shaken your head, cleared your mind, and as you've taken every instance possible to evaluate the outside, there's nothing on the exterior of this letter that causes you
Mhm.
any kind of question.
Okay. I'll pass it over to Charlatan at that point.
Okay, I'll open it.
This one talks about the failures, frauds, and crimes of Verlick Starr,
Wasn't he one on the list?
the Dawn Bishop.
Oh.
Verlick Star.
Verlikk. Verlick Starr. Starr.
Any relation to Patrick?
Wow.
Okay.
And goes on to talk about his embezzlement of funds from the Temple of Dawn, as well as
Okay.
sexual misconduct and harassment of his congregation.
Ooh, boy, we might be getting out of this one, guys.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sweet. So they've amassed blackmail against
Right.
a lot of the major powers, is what I'm guessing these are.
This is a very important lockbox, this thing.
Yeah.
No wonder it was set with a poison needle trap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Go
close.
ahead. Go ahead on letter number 3. You're right. I want to be clear. You're right to be checking each one of these.
Yes.
Yes.
12 was on.
You know what? I could be helping him this whole time. He's
I'll
trying to get
pass him. So
advantage.
what we'll
Is that
do?
okay?
Well, here's what-
I mean,
let's get a chain going. So you roll an investigation check, pass it to me. I'll read it, and then I'll pass it to Tomias to
Okay.
do his own investigation.
okay, whatever. I mean, it
Alright.
doesn't
So
matter.
on
I
the-
just
Yeah.
All right,
you've
yeah. So
got
we can
letters
we can
1
roll
and-
we can
and
roll 2
2.
investigation checks on this.
Nice.
This is fine.
it doesn't matter.
I've become a secretary. I'm just writing things down right
Right.
Yeah, that's
Thank
good.
you. Okay.
That's good.
Serpent's just still working on his charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 14
Like
didn't do
this
much.
summer
Yeah.
sausage is
Okay.
delicious.
It really is.
now. Real
Who's that?
venison.
Is that venison?
Yeah.
All right.
So,
So third letter doesn't
third
seem to
letter
be
reading.
anything on it.
Okay.
Okay. Third letter
Nothing?
reading.
The faults, failures, and crimes of Eliza Fairchild.
Okay.
Ooh.
What kind of nasty stuff did she get up to, Brendan?
Eliza Fairchild is believed to have a mutually beneficial financial relationship with Broddard Silverpick.
Mm-hmm.
An oversight of enhanced taxation against regulation for those bringing carts into the Dusk Fair.
Hmm.
So setting higher taxes than what she should. Um,
I see. That makes sense then. She's in charge of the Dusk Fair.
yeah, the Dusk Fair is hers.
Is
So,
hers. Got it.
and whereas that one could be kind of shaky legally, because whereas it's a district within the city, she owns it. Who knows? Who knows how that would be? How that would be over in court. There is also one final note, and it is what's the word I'm looking for here? She is believed to be over friendly with many of the other city officials,
Okay.
Engaging in bribery?
providing favors, not just bribery, but maybe
The other
political
kind?
favors, potentially even those of an after dark kind of feel.
I see.
And solicitation.
Yes, solicitation.
There you go.
It's a good word for it.
Solicitatory. No, never mind. Okay, got it.
All right, I'll give that to Timaeus. All right,
Yeah.
letter number 4, Arlen.
Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll just might roll mine now too. I'm doing crappy rolls right now, so I'm getting them out.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 for me is that one's better. 21.
There you go.
21. This one, you're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah. Are these all?
It seems as though it's more about the contents inside than it is.
Yep.
And these
can I-
the exteriors are thick. They're meant to not be
right.
clear in any sort of the imagination. Not even good light allows you to see through them. They are very thick. They are an attempt to be official.
Are these all written by the same hand?
No, they are not.
Oh, good question.
Okay.
Very good question.
So I want to make a mental note of
yes,
different
so,
handwritings.
Broddard Silverpick is it is written in feminine script.
Okay.
Verlick Star is written in. Actually, this would be the same handwriting as the calendar, with a very almost dwarven notation.
So I'm gonna put a D for dwarven.
Yep.
That one.
Eliza Fairchild is a more masculine script.
Okay.
And the handwriting is pretty rushed.
Okay. So I'll take letter number 4 and read it.
The faults, failures, and crimes of Mythilus Twilight, premier presider of the Twilight Theaters.
Ooh.
Say the name again.
Mythilus Twilight. Mytholas. Twilight. Mythilus.
And handwriting on that one?
The handwriting is feminine script again.
Okay.
Same as the letter 1?
It is not. This one is more, it's more meticulous. You would expect a good record keeper, actually, to have this kind of handwriting.
A clerk. Yeah.
Some sort of clerk.
Okay. I'll give that to Miles.
We haven't read it yet, though, right? Go ahead.
I read it.
No, what? Yeah, but what it was about?
Oh, what's in it?
What were the crimes?
What did he do?
So Mythilus is believed to have extorted and blackmailed city officials to oversee regulations within the theaters. In specifics, to dodge what's the word I'm looking for here? In terms of inspections, dodge inspection.
Okay.
So blackmail's bad, definitely.
Yeah.
Extortation and blackmail that's pretty big.
Pretty big.
I'll hand that to Miles.
Yeah. I already did a roll for that, I think, earlier. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, Cody got a pretty high one on that.
Yeah, that's right. We're not seeing anything. I'm not terribly.
Yeah.
But
next letter.
Okay,
Cody, if you want to
just in case.
One of these might. There you.
23.
That was,
23.
Yeah, I'm 25, so we both did like really good.
Yep. For this one, more of the same.
Yes.
Faults,
go ahead
failures,
and read
and
it.
crimes of Commander Dane Caradier. Dane Caradier the Silver of the Duskside Battalion. Now, that name, Timaeus, is Elven. Dane Caradier means corpse maker.
Oh wow. Of the Dust Side? You said it was of the Dust Side?
Duskside Battalion.
Yeah.
Yep. Dane Caradier.
Wow.
Daenceredir. Dane Caradier.
Handwriting on that one?
Handwriting on this is very masculine, and it seems to be, this one is actually written in all capitals. They are neat, they are fine, but they are in all capitals.
Okay.
And to capitalize, the letter is just made much larger
Small caps,
in that
yeah.
case. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And just
What did Dane do? Oh, go ahead.
Dane Keradir is believed to have moved forces to allow for creatures to get close to the walls. In specifics, goblins that are capable of climbing the walls.
That's a heck of a climb. They're tall.
Yep. He's also believed to have taken bribes from members within the Windwall Guard.
Okay.
And lastly, dereliction of duty. Leave without any, leave without formal posting of leave. Absence without leave.
You all. Yeah.
So he's the commander of the Death Side, so I'm guessing Damian Kane is commander of the Dawn Side?
Danium Kane is Windwall Guard.
Windwall, okay.
Yeah. So, not exactly sure who the Dawn Side Brigade would have as their commander or general.
Okay.
All right, I'll give that to Timaeus. Letter 6.
That's so good.
12, not great.
Neither one of us. Yeah, we're like rolling with each other.
It's always fun.
Just read it.
So, this one is the failures, faults, and crimes of Rayala Merriworth, a record keeper and clerk of Kywind.
Ooh.
What's the last name again, please?
Merriworth, Merriworth.
Handwriting on that one?
Handwriting on this one is also the all caps masculine font.
Ters.
Okay.
Likes to yell a lot
Okay.
in writing.
What did she do?
The destruction and removal of both classified and public documentation.
Ooh.
She's their insurance policy.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Does it list in detail? These
There
items?
are some of them.
Yeah.
It would be a little
Are these
much
just
to go through
letters
them
or-
that
Yeah.
way.
Would you say these are letters or are they files?
There aren't. Some of them have some little pieces of paper kind of tucked with them, little notes and scribblings, but you're not exactly sure whether these would be legit or not.
Okay.
Okay.
But then, per some of the investigatory roles here, one of the questions that comes to your mind is, would they need to be?
Yeah.
Right.
Or would it create enough of a problem?
Yeah. I think this is just they would drop these on these people's doorsteps and it would let them maneuver them to do whatever they wanted.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So I'll give that to Timaeus. And then I guess wow, you got to go on that one, Cody.
Yeah. See if I can get close to you. Natural 20.
20.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
You know what
Nice.
kind of tree this paper came from?
Yeah, that's right. That bird pooped right here. So anyway.
Whereas it's not Papirian walnut, it's definitely a decent oak.
Yeah. Okay. Read that one.
The faults, failures, and crimes of Lady Janelle Stewart, steward of Castle Dusk.
Whoa. Stewart or Steward?
Stewart, which is the last name that indicates stewardship.
Handwriting.
Handwriting on this is the same feminine script for that of Broderick Silverpick.
Oh boy.
Okay.
More cursive.
Okay. What did she do?
Failure to oversee correct election procedures.
She rigged an election. Does it say which one?
It actually notes 2. And it gives the same name for each one. Tomicus Mayhew, governor of Kywind.
Oh, whoa. Okay. All right. I have
Wheel.
one final question, Brendan.
Yeah.
There are 7 of these letters.
Yeah.
How many populated districts of Kywind are there?
How many populated districts?
Yeah, like
Oh,
how many?
dude, there's so many.
So
There's
there's
a lot more than 7.
There's a
more than
lot more than 7. Yeah, I'm looking at the Kywind map right now, and boy howdy, it's a beautiful map. But
these are some of the most powerful. Or
we
most-
need to get our hands on a city map because I want to start crazy rooming this file
Yeah.
with red string and everything.
well, I suppose. Give me just a second here, and I will share. Give me a new share here.
I've got mine up.
Hey,
but
guys, I have a map. I bought one in the Dust Fair before the Knolls.
Oh,
dropped.
you went to the visitor center. Okay.
Yeah.
Got that and some beef jerky.
No, some elephant ears.
There you go.
Okay, I picked the right one.
There you go.
That's part of the problem
Good
too.
Very
Proud of
nice.
you. Good job.
Okay.
Okay. And you guys can draw on this because D&D Beyond has been doing a thing. So
Oh, that's right. Because I can play. Okay. All right. Here we go. I can hit the play.
So we are here.
that's
button.
you.
Okay.
We are the party.
So, let's go down each one of these and mark off the district that this person would be in charge of.
Ooh, there you go.
So, Silverpick would be the dust mines, which we just were at
Yep.
last night.
Yep.
So down over there.
That's
to the
down over
left.
there. Okay.
Well, just put a big old number 1 on it.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Let me. I got this.
Stand out.
Yeah, I was going like gray silver for that, but
Who's got the neatest penmanship?
Not me. I'm using a mouse.
Yeah.
Same.
Mice have terrible penmanship. Yeah.
one.
Yeah, and they
There
fight
you
back
go.
when you try to use them.
It's-
One.
Okay.
Right, that's letter number 1.
And then
Okay, and then the bishop, Verilic Star.
Verilic Star is going to be up here.
okay,
Okay.
so that's
'Cause that's the dawn.
2.
There you go.
2, Okay.
Nice.
Fairchild.
Is yep.
Dusk Fair.
That's
Yep.
fair.
Dusk Fair.
3.
3. And then the Twilight Theater District.
Which we're in currently.
We're
Yeah.
in.
4.
Okay. And then the Dust Side Battalion.
Which
Down there,
Much bigger.
much bigger.
5.
Okay. And then Maryworth, the clerk.
that would be in the castle itself, wouldn't it?
Yep.
6.
So the last 2 are both the
Last
castles.
6 and 7. Yep.
And 7.
Okay, so let's just start.
67.
Okay, so
So close.
so the
I'd like
dust
to roll
mines.
investigation to see if there's any kind of connection that I can make.
Yeah, it's a
just
good
based
idea,
on-
Kelly. Good idea.
And these
Turpin's been sitting back and listening to the whole
13.
thing. You know, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to do this like
Pollution and
Robert
stuff.
Downey Jr.'s Sherlock, and I'm going to carve it into the floorboards of this room.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go. There you go. I mean, Arlen, these are some powerful people that are being implicated.
But so, like, I see Arlen, like I imagine Arlen you correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, but I imagine Arlen is like speaking out loud or thinking out loud when he's
Right.
doing this, because we're all looking at the same map. And then I'll let him finish his process, and then I'll say, well, if you think about it, the mines afford this is actually a strategically chosen number of gets here. The mine would allow them the ability to store and transport rather seamlessly. Then if we come up to the church, what better propaganda machine than religious fervor of the people? Then over at the Dusk Fair, trade. They can either increase or shut down trade in order to control the populace. Then in the where we're at in the the
Entertainment.
Entertainment, but not only that, there are several other. Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there several high level businesses in this district as well?
Yeah.
This is where they launder all the money they're making from
Yes,
the
exactly.
other locations.
Exactly. This is the commerce section, really.
And then they enforce it through the dust site battalions.
Military, and then the high seat of government itself.
Yeah.
Both in terms of bookkeeping and authority.
Yeah. And ensuring that they more or less control who's in the seat.
This is an incredible
We need to get
conspiracy. It's really big now.
Yeah, we need to get this to Hazel.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, I think it's interesting. These were not labeled, and these are probably sealed by whoever put them here, right? So these were like, okay, 911, I need to go back here if I ever need to keep
the problem. Well, the problem is that this is not evidence.
Mm-hmm. These are accusations.
This is implication.
This is implication and accusation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's when Turpin's going to kind of speak up, like, okay, so pretend like I don't know anything about really complicated political espionage and different kind of things like that. Like, when it comes to, I'm hearing you talk about these things, and how valid do we think these accusations are, and in the end, does it even really matter? Because if the note's all about stirring up dissent or distrust in the people in charge, do any of these even have to be true, or do they just have to be words in the right hands?
That's right. If they're released as rumors, they would be devastating.
Yeah.
Or perhaps
Potentially. Or
but they could be true. They could be true.
Very strong blackmail to keep these people in line.
Brendan, would I be able to discern who the least powerful person on this list would be? I know I'm new around here, so I don't know if
I would say, I mean, when you think about it, the presence of the two different churches are kind of fascinating. Temple of Dawn, the Temple of Dusk. Obviously, between the Dusk Mines as well as the Dusk Fair, you've got a lot of employment. You have a lot of economic power. Anything military. Silverpick would have some, but I would also say the arts are always what get cut first.
That's true.
So Mythilus or Silverpick are likely to be your two weakest on potentially any totem pole that's there.
I think I might know a way to track Franklin down, Turpin.
I'm listening.
You just gave me an idea, actually. Let's assume for the moment that these accusations are in fact true.
Mm-hmm.
Show up to them demanding answers.
It also means that these people, while not innocent, are being, if they are compliant with this conspiracy, their compliance is being forced.
This could be insurance policy too, though.
Possibly. But if we can find the right person on this list,
We could put
we
pressure
could
on them.
potentially we could
Mhm.
potentially leverage them into giving us the information we need, or even helping us, depending on how amenable they are to this whole conspiracy.
Possible. Our hardest part is mobility. How do we get out of this without being arrested as soon as we're spotted?
Don't be spotted.
No, well, honestly, what we need the guard off our backs, and I think the only way to do that is to attend this trial.
Well,
they've already discovered we're not at the end, probably, right?
Probably.
It's like 9 o'clock.
Surely by now.
but guys, guess what? When we, if they accuse us, okay, let's say I'm kind of with Charlatan here. We turn ourselves in somehow. We go to the trial because it's right here. What are they going to say? Well, if we left there, if we didn't leave there, we would have been arrested anyway. We're being set up. So what's our probable, what's some reasons? When you remember at the end of the battle in the Dawn Fair,
Mhm.
at the end of the battle, what did Kane do? Commander Kane do?
He asked you
To us.
if you.
No,
He
I agree.
deputized us.
He
We're official.
That is right. He deputized us. We have authority that he never rescinded. And if anybody says, yes, but after the battle was over, that didn't count. And I'm going to say, no, because that was at the end of the battle. He deputized us at the end, after everything was done. I think we have a probable cause to say we were looking for this young boy. Second, when we were given the sequestering letter, did he hand it to me directly? Did an official courier hand it to me? No, he gave it to a bouncer. So not only do we have we could deny that we even got it, for one thing. Second, if he did give it to us, we would have every right to be suspicious of it because of the way it was handled to us, and the fact that the Commander Kane didn't mention anything about. There was no mention of the deputizing. How do we know it was even from him?
It wasn't.
We have plausible deniability to say, why should we listen to this? Right? So we just happened to overhear in the bar that there's something going on at the mine that was strange, and we were looking for the child. We saw eagles flying that way. We can't say that we know where it came, other places. We just have to say we saw eagles going, and that seemed like a good place for us to go. The next question is, how did we get there? Well, we can just smile if they say, how'd you get through the districts? We can just smile and say, well, we snuck through.
On foot.
You have security issues. Someone should do a study of the security issues in the city. Oh, wait, they did. And then we don't have to hint that we know he's killed, but that's it. So how did we get to the theater district? We followed the bad guy that we were fighting in the mines, and we just happened to go there and look at this information we found. So
And we tailed
That's
one
right.
of the members back to the
That's right.
Casino.
back to the casino.
And then if we could have some citizen with us, perhaps, to take us, somebody of standing to take us, escort us to the castle, just to make sure we don't get, dragged under, maybe then we have a chance we have plausible deniability enough to maybe make our case without being railroaded. And now we have all this information.
Maybe a trusted lieutenant of a particular commander in the city watch.
If we can,
Yeah.
if we could find them. So that's why I said, I don't know what you guys think, but I've been thinking a lot about
I think
this.
that's pretty good.
I think we can answer every question. The thing that we can't mention is me doing magic.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Very good. Because I cannot be
I should probably remove my raiment as well.
yeah. I'm Chilburn. I'm not Tomias.
So forgive me if my memory's a little foggy, Tomias, but haven't you already been recognized
Yes. But
By the
By one
commander.
person.
one person,
by the
Commander
commander?
Kane. Correct. And he was gracious enough if he did was
keep it a
coerced
secret.
to keep it a secret. If he was influenced to write that letter, that sequestering, he kept that secret and addressed it to my alias. So, which
Yeah.
I'm just a sage as far as they know. I'm a, you know, and I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about this. I don't know.
So how does this help us find Franklin specifically?
It gives us the slack
That's right.
that we need in
The
order
freedom.
to properly investigate.
That's
his
right. We will
whereabouts.
never get out of this, and we can. That is our main objective, and we can say everything we've done was for that purpose, and that is true. So we've told them almost the truth the whole time. As far as we know, I would think almost everything I've said was true. It was just angled in our favor a little bit.
From a specific angle. Yeah.
From a certain point of view.
We're doing Obi-Wan here? Great.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
I think that's a good idea. I think that'll help.
Well,
It'll at least shake put pressure, or at least move the eye of suspicion away from us for the time being.
Turpin, I believe that there is a way relatively soon, perhaps even today, that we could use the Reverie Gate to find out if Franklin is alive or not.
Well, if
Today.
that's well, and on that note, is that something that we could do, or would that have to require Beatrice? Like, I don't know how these things work.
I think it would, Brendan. It would require Beatrice, correct?
That would make it a lot easier to know.
But I think she'd want to know, correct?
I mean, it's the fastest way to find out if he's even still alive. I don't know. We could always. I don't know how she'd feel.
The
about
first
that.
move of that plan, though, if we want to, whether we do that part or skip straight to just tracking him down. If you can put your trust in me, would be to turn ourselves in. Otherwise, we're going to be pursued the whole way, and that will result in Franklin's death.
Yeah, it's not going to do him any good if we're in a dungeon somewhere, because they captured us and we didn't have a chance to present our case.
We'll just let them capture us as we walk in.
Well,
but you have to understand too, Turpin, that we have cards to play here, but you can't play them unless you sit at the table.
But there is a danger. What if they strip us of all it? What if they just throw us in? I mean, we don't know.
That's why
we don't know how
need
deep.
Hazel.
Okay, well, if we could find someone.
Let's not put all of our eggs in this particular basket.
I like
agree.
that.
But I'm saying it's a strong opening move.
Yeah, I
and
think,
lest we forget, the Luminants were very clear that they owe us a favor.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say it'd definitely be unexpected, because to me it sounds dumb, but what do I know? So I
appreciate your honesty.
Sometimes dumb is all you have.
Well,
yeah, like I said before, there are no safe paths.
There's one more thing before we rest that I think we need to discuss. And it goes to your mention of tactics. Whether we plan on sticking together past finding Franklin or not, for the time being at least, I think it might behoove us to select a leader of sorts.
I nominate not me.
I also nominate not me.
What's unanimous then?
I was actually thinking
Who's
Cal
not me? What?
might be the man for the job.
Cal, said, Who'd you say?
Cal.
You did say
Cal.
Cal. That's what I thought.
I was gonna say Tobias.
No.
I think
Well,
he has
I
the
was.
most-
I would be comfortable with either of you.
Well, Cal, you have the advantage of being much more charming than I am. I, as an elf in our community like this, would be considered. I don't know. I trust
I
you,
do.
regardless. I trust you. We've been there long
would-
enough.
only be a leader in the guise of just talking face to face with people. I wanted to make it very clear I hold no power or control over any of you.
Yes, but sometimes somebody
have
just
a
needs
united-
to make a decision.
Okay.
Yep, and with your tactical experience, I think that will help us more. I will tend to be frozen by indecision by considering too many options.
That's fair. I think the first thing we need to do is drop a note back to Hamich to get
What if
Hazel back to us.
There's another option.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I could get. What if I could get Hazel to come here?
That's what I want.
But what would she doesn't
But
want to
without
expose
going
herself.
without going to Sandwich.
But she would. Why would we want her to go with us to the castle?
As you mentioned, an escort.
Yeah, but shouldn't we keep our people, our informants, out of this?
Well, she might be able to set one up. An escort.
Oh, that's true.
for us.
Now that's very true.
Potentially also as a secondary repository of the information we found. I want
That's a very good point.
if we're silenced, I want someone else to know what we've uncovered in the last 5 hours.
Do we give her some of the letters?
I think she should at the very least see them.
I don't know how long it'll take her to get here. Do we
Yeah.
want to rest and then summon her? Because I'm actually thinking about
When
making.
was our trial scheduled?
Well, today probably.
Oof.
The note read,
Is-
"The guards will come and pick you up when it is time."
Oh, when it is time.
Is
Well,
trial
we're-
the right word, or that seems kind of strong?
Questioning? I don't know.
Inquest.
We were going to be questioned.
Inquest, yeah.
It said to a meeting of a special
Inter-
council.
Interview, maybe
Yeah,
is
yeah,
better,
grand
a better
jury.
word.
Inquisition.
It felt like a trial.
Well.
Flogging.
I can make while you all are, if we do want to sleep some while you are sleeping, while all of you are sleeping, I can make copies of these.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's the other thing I was going to suggest. We might give her copies of the letters that we found.
That's
Yes.
brilliant.
But I
So-
don't know how long it'll take her. I mean, I could summon her right away, and it'll probably take her a few hours at least. I can get started on this.
Some of you need your beauty sleep. Maybe we should do that first.
I think you need some beauty sleep as well.
Yes.
You look pretty rough.
Yeah. Now Uladar has been ahead of us the whole time. Could he be around?
It's
He
possible.
might be.
You know?
But I think
just don't-
Hazel is Hazel is a less obvious person to summon.
Yeah,
I will
she
take-
was
you
pretty
know.
discreet last time.
The
Yeah.
problem, Sandwich will already be in the marketplace now. He won't be at his place anymore.
Yeah, that's
He'll be
fair.
at a shop by now, probably. Or
The
on
shop's
way.
not open yet, but yeah, it'll. He's there.
Well, by this
Yeah.
point, it's open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
what
guys have
time-
been
like
talking
10.
for a solid 45 minutes at
Yeah.
this point.
Okay. Okay. So it's almost
it's-
9 a.m.
It's about let's see, I said that it was 7:45, 8 o'clock when we started. Yeah, I would say that it's about 8:30.
Okay.
So he's at the shop, and
Well,
Okay.
when it comes to tactics, everybody got one potion for sure.
I do not. I have.
Everybody put it.
none.
We had 6. We have 6 that were all given to us. I think all
I
the other-
have 2 on me.
Okay, so you've got the 2, Cal. So everybody else has 1, right?
I do not.
I'm
Okay,
pretty
put it
sure
on
you
there.
guys used some after that last
Well,
fight.
I
we
used
had-
the
I
one
used-
that I had.
I used mine.
Oh, you
Yeah.
used the new one? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we also looted 2 health potions off of
That's true.
the corpses.
That's true.
So we have a
So
total. we had
I'll
8
take
new
one.
ones.
I'll take one.
Yeah.
We had 8 new ones. I think I had 1 old one.
I drank one and
I-
ate the rest of my good berries.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think we should
And
have 7
I drank
then, right?
one. Well, I drank
Well,
one.
Arlen used one too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 6.
I
We're back
used
down
one.
to 6 then, right? Because we had 6 plus 2 minus 3, so we have 5.
So
Is that how it
should be-
goes?
Yeah, one.
So
that
one
should be
each.
one each.
One each.
There you
Everybody.
go.
So put that in your. Show me. We should show each other where we're going to put it. So that way, in case you go down, we can grab it and.
It's going to be in this hip flask.
Yeah. That's right.
Mine's in my
Mine's in a
Alright,
pouch
so
on my
adding
belt.
my
Yeah. In the
Pocket
backpack,
my-
at the bottom, underneath.
backpack.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Did we
Locked
identify
by a
what kind of?
password. Locked with a passphrase.
Yeah, that's password.
Yeah.
We're going to get community noted by our listeners so hard on our potions and what we have and don't have.
Probably. Sorry, all. This is part of it.
Yeah. We're
Some
bad.
of us are new. Okay.
Just make sure you're tracking them on your inventory. When you use them, remove them.
Yeah.
When you get them, add them.
I had been.
Yeah. This
But-
is part of playing D&D. It's
Yeah.
part of it.
I want to get
So
these
I'm-
spell slots back though, guys. So we need to get. Some
I want to get my hit points back.
Yeah.
Do you think we sleep and then go this afternoon, or do we wait till the morning again?
I tell you what. Here's what I'll do,
Wait till
Brendan.
you see what happens.
So, because we talked about this briefly earlier, for it to be a long rest,
Yep.
not all of it has to be sleeping. Correct?
No. The rules state that you have to sleep some of the time. For any non-elven creatures that require sleep, you have to sleep most of the time. For me, if you get 6-7 hours within that 8-hour span, I mean, the rest of it says.
But
that
for
you
Jeff and I,
need
it's
to
different.
drink. For Jeff,
4
as an
hours.
elf, he needs a 4-hour trance. The rest of those 4 hours, he can do whatever he wants, so long as it's not anything vigorous or anything that would start combat.
So I can
Would-
start copying with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
you can do some
conversing-
copy work.
Would conversing with an NPC be allowed?
I would allow it.
Okay. Is there like a pull chain in here? Is this a nice enough
Yeah,
room
the
to like
bellhop.
summon?
There's a bellhop.
So what I want to
There's a dumb
do is
waiter.
I want to go ahead and start the rest, and then when the rest has like 2 hours left,
Okay.
I want to summon the guy as Jag.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then-
so that would be about 6 hours in, so that would jump
Okay.
us from 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m.
Okay.
So I can do my 4-hour trance during that time.
Yep,
So you'll be
right
good.
at the start. So
Right.
and then you'll have 2 hours to be with Charlatan while everyone else is sleeping.
And I'll just be sitting
Mhm.
making copies. Making copies. And then I'm gonna add blackmail letters to my inventory.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, so you're going to carry him. Now that's going to be interesting because that could be important. Who has them?
Well, okay, I think actually I should carry him.
Okay.
Because technically they're
Yeah.
disguised under my persona in my gear.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Oh, I didn't even think about that. There's kind of a,
Yeah.
Po-
I mean it's not real, like they
ye-
could find it,
but
but
Yeah,
It's-
because your
it's
shield
just
disappears.
one
and
subtle layer of security.
got it.
So-
Okay, that's a great idea.
Just
like
remember,
seeming.
if you get stopped by the cops, that's not mine. Works every time.
Yeah. You put that there.
That's right.
Oh, well, you know what? Before you can start copying, I'm going to look over the
The Fireside
books.
Fables does not give out legal advice.
That's right. That's right.
And by the way, a little piece of advice to all of our listeners: if you ask if they're a cop, they legally have to tell you.
That's right.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally do.
Call Fireside now. 1-800-472.
No, don't call that number.
Oh.
Don't do that.
So I'm gonna continue analyzing the books because there was some.
Yeah,
there was some
I'll
unleft
copy
up.
because
Yeah.
I got 8 hours here.
That was-
So I'll copy. You look through the books.
and the
Yeah.
calendar if there's anything left
Sure.
to be undone.
I'm gonna-
So,
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
you
work-
can help
so,
me, Arlen, when you wake up.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
work
say-
with Tobias on the books. Yes.
as long as you can. Yeah.
Well,
can
for
sleep.
as long as you can, but you're still going to need to get
you
your
need.
sleep if
You
you
have.
need.
Yeah, you need.
You have
sleep.
more of that 6 to 7 hour sleep necessity.
Well, and I can work.
if you
wait
wanna
till
get your
you
health
up.
back.
Yeah. But yeah, so we need a.
So it's up to you. If Arlen's going to sleep, that's fine. If he's
Yeah,
not,
well,
then
I-
he'll have whatever hit points he has. And
No,
whatever
he's gonna
abilities he's
sleep.
used.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Make that
That's all
point
right.
of exhaustion.
Yep.
All right, let's
Don't
do
want
this,
that.
Jeff.
So we
I'll
get a-
copy. I'll copy. You study.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I'll trans
I will
first.
say,
Yeah. Trans first.
Let's. I'm guessing, Charlatan, you're not trying to make replicates. You're just trying to get the information down.
I'm making. I'm making a neat, legible
Right.
copy in my own hand.
In your
Got it.
own hand, yes.
Got it,
No
got
skill
it.
check required for that. Tamias,
You
for
can
you.
write,
Yeah.
right?
Tamias, for you, I
In
would
two
like
different
for
languages.
you to make I would like you to make one more intelligence check on the calendar.
Okay.
That's
Real
the only necessary check needed here.
Real quick, just a quick note, Brendan. I'm actually going to do this in Draconic.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
In Draconic.
And not in
fancy.
Common.
Sounds good.
Which I can read as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Okay.
aren't we all just fancy dancy?
Okay.
Why are
Oh,
you trying to
shoot,
summon a demon?
That was a 15.
You don't know me.
Oh, you made a
Mind
save.
your business.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Are you? No, you're proficient in saving throws. So no, just click on the intelligence, not on the saving throw. Roll that again.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What did I do?
So
I don't know.
Yeah,
No, same. That's the same. Yeah, 16. Okay. No, is that
Well,
right?
what did you do?
It says save again. All right. No. So.
Oh, actually, it should be plus 2 that. Or plus, no.
No, it
you're
should be.
proficient with intelligence saving throws.
Yeah,
so
so
really
just
that would be a
subtract
plus
2.
7.
Yeah,
Plus
that's it.
6 or plus 7.
Yeah, that's 16.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, over the span of the last couple hours there, as you already had gotten a decent start on the cipher, finally something clicks and you start to figure out all of the things that are happening here. And on the calendar, which also has the map that came with it, a couple of the maps that were down in the mines as well on the desk, you can note some of the different as the cipher kind of depicts some of the different notations of movements of certain null packs. They are denoted to be whether they are born nulls or nulls that have been demonically created.
Yeah.
Wow.
You also get information along the side as one of the higher ends of this check that denotes specific instructions from Howlena Nash.
Howlena. That's a good name.
Howlena Gnash. Howlena Nash.
Like a goblin. Yeah.
Or a null.
Or a null. Yep.
And
Howlena?
Howlena.
Howlena. The information, and the more you dive into the calendar, it talks about specific hunting movements, specific war bands and hunting bands that will be moving into certain areas, and their regular routines and tactics. And you can see quite plainly how easy it would have been with all of this knowledge to capture, cage, and then transfer gnolls. To find the safest times to set up ambushes, to then capture them for your own purposes, and to bring them in. Yeah.
So that explains.
Lastly,
okay.
within the books, you can see, whereas you already had the two physical characteristics and descriptions, some of the names that you found, right, those were kind of highlighted with an undisclosed payment amount, right? It didn't say exactly how much they were set to win.
Right.
But the other 6 individuals, you had no character description of, no physical traits, until you reach towards the end of the books. And that is where you can see actually all of the information and details of these individuals. And that is where you actually find the following information: the jobs and the employment of each one of these individuals. The rest of them seem unimportant, 7 of them. But for Donatus Flay, it reads coroner.
Man, they've got this on lock.
Oh gosh, this is crazy.
Wow. And he was, wow.
He was the one that did the autopsy on the brother, I bet.
Yeah, he was the second one he was the second payment that won the big amount, right? The first
So
one.
they can fake autopsies. They can destroy court records. They can.
Do
Man,
anything.
they can
of
alter.
death.
They can alter deeds. They do just about anything in Kywind.
They can implicate anyone they want.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this is deep. This corruption is deep. All right. Okay.
Oh, I know. I'm asleep.
And long rest.
One note, Brendan.
Oh yeah, do we?
Oh,
good.
Just in case, I am going to sleep with the longsword now, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, thank God he said
Careful.
longsword.
Going to sleep with Charlotte. No.
I call inside spoon.
Come
It's
to
the
me,
better
my
spoon.
undead brother.
Oh.
If you're asking about any dreams, they don't happen, actually.
Okay.
Okay.
A paladin and an undead guy walk into a bar.
Cal, I will just say this.
You turned my head.
As you
Sorry, that was a
wow.
turn joke.
Wow, that
Anyway.
was what a joke. You sleep
terrible.
with the sword kind of tucked in. You kind of hold it round and keep it to you. It's in its sheath, but there is a warmth that makes it very easy for you to fall asleep.
It's like a teddy bear.
Well, at this time, we are going to take a brief break and come back with the rest of the episode. Guys, this
Did
was
we
a lot
get
of
that
fun.
long rest?
You will when we come back.
Woohoo!
Okay.
All right,
I just-
so to our audience,
what-
we're going to see you real soon. Welcome back. Well, gentlemen, the group begins to awake, shift. At about six and a half hours at this point. So it's not a lot of sleep, considering the 45 minutes of conversation leading up to this point. But you got maybe an hour and a half left in the rest.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and ring
2 p.m.
the dumbwaiter bell or whatever to get
Okay.
somebody up here to this room. And
All
when
right.
when the door the door, like somebody knocks on the door, I'll turn into Jag.
Jag. Okay. Yeah. Eventually, it actually comes pretty quickly, and it's the same proprietor.
What's Hazel's full name? I don't know if I wrote it down. I just wrote down Hazel.
I have it. Hazel Balladay. Or
Ballad.
Balladly.
Balladly.
Val Adley. Okay.
Adley.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
And she's and the name of the guard again?
The Dust Guard. But she also said the city does not know about the existence of the Dust Guard.
yes.
Yeah. So don't use that. No.
Okay.
Could we ask for an official of the Luminant?
No, that's secret too, isn't it?
Pretty secretive.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
can't do that. Could we
Okay.
ask for a? Would you believe? No, that's no, that was get smart.
What's the name of the commander again?
you're talking
Damien
about-
Kane.
Danium.
Danium.
Danniam.
Dannian. Danian.
And
Okay.
he's in custody. We think.
Correct.
Yeah, he's sequestered.
Okay. So and
we
the name of the inn we were supposed to be staying at.
Rear guard.
The Rearguard Tavern.
Rear guard. Okay. All right, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, the knock
So-
comes. Knock.
Yeah.
Knock.
I go and I open it and I like open it a little bit,
Mhm.
and then I'll reach out and like roughly grab the guy by the sleeve and yank him
Yo!
and then
Yep.
close it.
Okay.
And I say,
How are you? How are you liking your stay so far, Mr. Oceanus?
adequate.
Wonderful. I hope to hear such things.
I have an errand for you.
Please, yes, anything.
It-
I will
it
do it
must-
myself.
it must be done with the utmost discretion.
Sure.
I need you to send word to the Rear Guard Tavern. You familiar with this establishment?
He's a competitor, yes.
Send word to the Rear Guard Tavern. Tell the innkeeper that he is to. How do I phrase this? Tell the
That's a good
innkeeper
question.
that he is to have Beatrice. Are you writing this down?
Of course. Yeah, he pulls out a piece of paper and starts to begin. Feverishly begins writing.
That was good. That was good, Jared.
To have the innkeeper tell Beatrice to tell Hazel that we are here at your establishment. Do not mention my name.
Very good.
Understand?
Yes, absolutely.
Hazel is to come at her first available convenience.
Yes.
See it done.
Very well, sir. And he gives a weird salute that you see him instantly regret, and he just spins on the spot and heads right for the door.
Yeah, and I close it, lock it, turn back into Charlotte.
Okay.
Finish the rest.
All right. Well, at about the not 2. It was 2 o'clock when we were first getting out. At about the 3 o'clock hour, you have maybe 45 minutes left in this rest. You begin to hear quite the commotion.
Oh, great.
And as you're looking outside, you're seeing a movement of guards. Obviously, there is something going on that is of interest to you.
Yeah. Am I the only one conscious for this?
I'm awake.
No. Timaeus is awake too.
Okay, I say to Timaeus, I suggest we do not overreact and instead see where this leads.
Okay. Is there any way for us to watch it without being observed, or?
Well, we're on the top floor, right?
Top floor, yeah.
Yeah. So
You're
just
about
watch,
3 stories up.
I'll just hang
hang
it over the edge. No. Okay.
Anyway. All right. Well, perception checks, the two of you.
Okay.
Oh crap.
Oh, it was a 15 and then it rolled to
Yeah.
a 7. 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm terrible. My sleep is still in my eyes or something.
There comes a knock at the door.
Oh crap.
You should probably answer that.
Okay. I'll get on
And
my.
I'll hang back and turn into Elias, but I won't be like immediately visible.
Okay. Okay. Go to the door. Yep. Crack it.
There is there's one of the staff
Mhm.
actually that has a little tray. On it is a pot, a kettle. You can see steam coming from it. It says tea.
Do I recognize the person?
You do not. Shall I leave it here at the doorstep?
Yes.
Insight check the tea.
Yes.
He
Yes. Please
places
put
it down.
Yes.
Gives a bow and
Yes.
leaves.
Thank you.
There's
Okay.
no one else in the hallway.
Okay. I'll give it a good few count. Nobody else. I'll bring it in.
Okay.
Not touching the tea. I'll let them know what he. Bring it over. Okay. Investigate the tea.
All right. Roll an alchemy tool supply check.
There's
for
a
me.
lot of that
Oh.
going along right now.
No, I want this tea totally checked. So maybe a
Taste it to make sure I
teetotaler.
don't get poisoned.
Teetotaler. Sorry, that was supposed to. So
Wow.
am I doing an alchemy check? Really?
Yeah, you're gonna roll an alchemy check.
Okay.
Good
Is that
old
just
wizard
intelligence? Is that intelligence?
It would be an intelligence plus proficiency. Yes.
Arcana.
A natural 19, 26.
Nice.
Dang, there you go.
Finally.
You begin to look over the tea, and Charlatan, you're watching in fascination as Timaeus pulls a small little pouch out and pulls out a couple of little sticks and begins to stir the tea. Pulls it out, sets it to the side. He is actually. And he pulls a couple of them to check and see the balance of it, and it doesn't seem as though there's any kind of poison inside of it.
I knew it.
And then so you take another one and you get a little spoon and you dip towards the bottom and pull out, and then you get a little bowl to the side and get some of the dredges down at the bottom and set those aside, and you begin to pull out a little book and analyze the different kinds of leaves that are there. It's tea.
It's tea. I can tell you where it came from too.
Probably.
You almost fell for the 2 classic blunders.
Yeah, that's right.
First one.
Well, check the pot and the cup too.
Timaeus looks up and says, "Lipton, cheapskate."
Right. Well, yeah, watch it. It has nothing to do with the tea. It's the cup or the tray. So it
So actually,
explodes.
it's a nice hibiscus tea.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Sounds
He
fancy.
is working hard. He is working hard for that Yelp review.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Seems to be a bit of a coincidence, as you're now checking outside and the guard, they're moving through, they're looking, it seems as though they're working together, making active sweeps of the streets, but
They're not coming inside.
they're not coming inside.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just say you're welcome.
Yeah. So, all right.
Brennan giving me heart palpitations at
Okay.
11 o'clock at night.
But then I go,
Yeah.
why did Brendan do that? Isn't that what Matt Colville says? You should. It's always.
I would never.
I
The
think
player
that's all,
suddenly.
Brendan.
Yeah.
I do not regret suspecting the tea.
But what if you mix the tea? No. Anyway.
Made us all paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's just a bunch of cups and a tea kettle and or tea. Okay. I'll check them all out. Nothing. You said it all looks good. It's all tea. It's all real.
Looks really,
Is
really
it
good
actual?
tea.
Is it real china?
Yes.
The pot
Mhm.
and the cups
Yeah.
and all that.
Oh,
Okay.
bag it. No, kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick, steal the towels.
They are so
Bag 'em
fluffy. I
and
can't even get my suitcase shut. Yeah. So
He
anyway.
said that we could keep the towels. He did. Remember.
Oh boy. Okay, we get cleaned up the best we can. I guess we can have tea, right?
Mhm. I don't drink, so
Oh, well, you can pretend to drink. You can still do it,
Okay.
right? You're like a vampire. You could do that.
When in doubt,
you don't want to know what
pinky
happens
out.
to it after I drink.
Yeah, it runs right through you. That's right. Out his shoe.
Well, you best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
One of these days, a bird's gonna fly out.
I am
anyway.
disinclined to acquiesce to your
It's
request.
to your request.
Means no.
Wow.
You guys know those quotes way
Gosh.
too well. Anyway.
I love Barbosa. He's so
Yeah,
good.
he's the best character.
He is a great character.
No, what are you doing?
Okay, so everybody's up and we're all sipping tea, and I'm thinking, you know what? I've been thinking about Mantis. I think it's a woman.
What?
I'm thinking, is it praying
It's a
mantis?
woman?
Is it the praying mantis the bug? Don't the
Yes.
females rip off their mate's head
Oh, that's aggressive.
after they're
Yes.
yeah? I just wonder if that's a symbolism. I don't know. This
Turpin-
this afternoon tea thinking.
Turpin, I don't want that to affect your romantic engagements.
No, I may be wrong.
That's not. I know you're inexperienced, but that's not normal.
I think that I know that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, yes,
Charlie,
I'd say
I
Turpin would know
appreciate
that. Yes, that's
I'm
right.
just
Yes.
saying, if you go for it, Beatrice, she's not going to decapitate you afterwards.
That's good to know. That I'll keep that in mind. That's not. I mean, there's never.
I mean, she could decapitate you after.
You can't say there's never a 0% chance, but
But it's unlikely. I
unlikely.
wouldn't put any money on it.
But the decapitation part or the woman part?
At the rate he's going, both.
Okay.
Thank you, Timaeus, for your
Cal
vote of
Cal wakes up to
No.
decapitation context.
I was distracted by the tea.
specifically decapitation in mating practices context.
Technically, it's
Why?
anthropology that we're talking about.
Is that like an elven custom? Is that why there are so few of you?
Yes, dating is rough. I'm telling you.
It explains a lot, right?
What's that mermaid Futurama joke? Well,
what happens is I lay the eggs and then I leave the room.
Wow.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great show.
Timestamp.
Really, really funny. Really funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was clean. Come on. That's a fish joke.
It
Come on.
is. It is a fish joke. Yeah, you
all
got
right.
got us there. Wow.
Yep.
All right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
it was a half a fish joke because it was
Half
a
a
mermaid
fish
joke.
joke.
So it's
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Merfolk.
Little
So did
caviar
we
or whatever.
manage
Anyway.
to maintain the long rest, Brittany, please?
You do. You do.
Yay.
And eventually,
Click the button.
eventually, you get your long rest.
Boy, when your screen says hallelujah, you know you're good.
Yeah.
So.
My computer just made a.
Yeah, really. My picture's
Brendan-
smiling again. Yeah.
So, Brendan, I have a question. So, like,
Sure.
is right at half your health points, is that considered bleeding or bloody,
Bloodied.
or is it right
Bloodied.
after or just below? So, like,
No, when you're at half
Half
or
or below.
below.
at half or below. Okay.
Half or below.
So, how many of us were
Considered bloodied.
actively bleeding before we went
Oh,
to
yeah.
bed?
Yeah.
Oh, actively bleeding?
Yeah, I had 6 hit points. I had 6 hit points.
I don't know. Do I bleed? Brendan?
Not really,
You
but
flake.
I ooze.
yeah, you ooze. There you
That's
go.
a great word.
Wow.
Good word.
Wow.
I was
I mean,
right
I'll
on
do
that cusp. 16 out of 32. So.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
was
yeah.
well
then you were
below it.
bloodied.
I was 5. I had 5 hit.
Oh.
I had one.
There you go.
Yep.
Wow.
Number 1 with a bullet.
I got to go back all those conversations we just had where you were on the ground laying there talking to us. You know.
Oh, yeah, it was-
Eternally bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, you want to elect me as your what?
Yeah. He only agreed to it because of the painkillers.
That's right.
He's lying on the
yeah,
ground.
guys.
I'm the shot caller.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Did you say
Yeah,
leader or
guys.
bleeder? Yeah.
I will be, he goes, all right.
Yes.
I will be firm but fair.
Nice. Nice.
Let's shake on it. Oh, you take 1 hit point of damage.
Yeah.
It goes-
Either way, most of you have taken towels and like getting to wipe your faces off and clean up a little bit, and you feel better. It's not as though your bodies are in perfect fit form. It's that you've had time to just come back, right? You've regained yourselves. You've taken the time to clear your heads. You're able to focus in on the things that you need to do, reconcentrate, reassess. You can take that sigh, right?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was some of that charcuterie board came back up.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Go
They give you 4 of them.
Yeah, I got Cal ate 4.
Yeah.
Turpin had a solid 1.5 to himself.
Yeah,
I'm not
Turpin's
gonna
over
lie.
there chewing on the board.
Got a toothpick.
It's the charcuterie we have to worry about.
Wow.
Charcuterie.
Wow. Oh, Sean's gonna write that one down.
Sorry.
A copyright fireside table.
Ask me about my charcuterie.
Got his notebook out.
his
I love
book.
it.
Got his notebook. Well done.
Sometimes we muster his chuckles.
Yes.
Yeah.
A reverse mustering. Yes.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Anyway.
All right, why don't we give it like another hour, and if she doesn't show up, we go looking for her, or I can go looking for her if you want.
Well, the guard activity only increases as you're watching.
All right,
So if you go, you're gonna have to go as Sebastian.
and they won't stop
probably.
Sebastian.
We're gonna have to stop it. If we see anybody we know, maybe that'll be helpful. There's
Yeah,
not many we
can-
know.
Can I do that,
Mhm.
Brandon? Can I scan the
Roll
streets,
roll
see if
an
I
insight.
notice
Roll an insight. A group insight check for me.
A group
Oh,
insight?
Group
group
insight.
insight?
Oh boy. Nope.
Oh man, it keeps trying to be a 17, and then it's not.
No.
9.
13.
This is making up for my rolls last time. I've
Yeah,
rolled
there you
2
go.
ones.
Yeah.
There you
Two
go.
ones so far this session.
Oh,
Dang.
wow. Wow.
2 natural ones. Arlen, you rolled a 23.
Oh, good for
23.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Arlen. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I'm sorry I said
Something
all those things about
as-
you.
As you're looking out the street, you've got 1 foot up. You're leaning over, you're taking a look. You're taking note. You recheck with Charlatan and Timaeus when the guard activity started, and the fact that it's only ramped up, that's when it clicks for you. They're looking for someone. A group, someone that they were supposed to know where to find them,
And they didn't.
and now they didn't. The trial has already started.
Yeah. Opportunity cost.
Let's go ahead and, guys, honestly, I think we should just turn ourselves in.
Oh, you were looking for us? Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We
See,
thought you
I-
meant this in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we didn't even get the letter. Remember, we gotta get that part
Should-
straight. Gotta get that part straight.
No, we could deny
Sebastian?
we got it, but I think we shouldn't.
Charlatan, should we move your copies over to Hamage before we turn ourselves in?
Samich.
That would maybe take time we don't have.
We're not going to get out. We're not going to get 10 feet out the door.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean,
that's why
I could do it,
Oh,
but
you could-
that's
yeah.
like
We need to-
Sebastian could.
Yeah,
it
but we
would
need
potentially
Charlatan
only
with
take
us.
you. Yeah, I
no,
know.
I know.
We're
He
not
said
gonna.
go and come back,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
turn
And
ourselves
then we
in.
turn ourselves in. Oh, it's
No.
getting. But
I
they
mean, I'm
haven't-
willing to do it if you guys want me to.
I just
but-
don't. Well, our other
Yeah.
option is to leave the copies here.
Yeah,
Having a little extra insurance wouldn't hurt.
having the copies. Yeah, we could put the copies, hide them in the room somewhere, or
Yeah, or at least somewhere that she might be able to find. I don't.
Is there? Can I do a quick search for a loose floorboard?
I
create.
mean, I don't think it's going to be quick.
Okay.
This
We
is
put 'em
this is the
somewhere?
master suite. It is the top floor. It's a vast room.
Is there an attic or a?
Is there a safe?
No.
Motel 6
Um,
gives you a safe.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
Yeah, but that's multi-use though.
There's no safe in the room, but you do note as you're looking around, there is a spot behind the fireplace.
Oh, by your side.
So how do we
long as it
indicate to
doesn't get
her
too
that there's
hot.
something here?
We just, I mean, we could just wait for the right moment and tell her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fair if we see her.
What was it? What was
kind
the name of this hotel again? I'm sorry. This.
Yeah, it was kind of a quick kind of a thing. Did we get the name or did we just walk in?
Yeah, no, I can't remember.
Oh, we just walked in.
Yeah.
We made a choice.
Most of us were around back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever did notice that.
I don't think you got the name of it. Did you? I have no idea. You might have. I don't know.
I don't have it
Let
in
me check my
notes.
notes.
Oh, the Wayward
don't-
Flagon.
My notes. Oh,
The
that
wa-
is right. Sorry. Thank
Wayward
you.
Flagon.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. The Wayward Flagon. Sorry, I was a bit focused on what's to come that I
Nope, I got it.
forgot what it was.
Oh, goody.
Okay, at least there's something to come besides us being executed, so that's good.
The Wayward Flagon.
Well, you don't know that. But,
Everybody's got backup characters, Jeff.
Thanks, almighty leader. Yeah. Gee, make me feel crappy.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't write down the names. So-
I'm gonna take the originals and put
Okay.
them in the cubby,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
and I'll keep the copies on
What-
my person.
Do you think that gives any less credibility looking at them, or just say we?
I'll write a note and I'll put it on the window
Yeah.
outside the house you came in last time
Yeah.
and be like,
Okay, so you want me to keep the copy here and take the original with us?
you do whatever you want to do.
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that.
I'm gonna try and leave a note indicating potentially where to look, like above the window,
All right.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she
I'm-
might think to look there.
Tucked into the exterior
For
of
Hazel.
the window.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I'm really thinking we need to bring the original, Charlotte,
Okay.
I
because,
agree.
because
I'll switch-
with
I'll
the
switch it out.
containers and everything, because that way we can show. And
I'll put my copies in the cubby.
Yeah,
That way, if
it
we
doesn't look
reveal-
like we just made it.
right. And if we reveal them, and we can rely on Arlen to be scanning the crowd if somebody reacts.
I hope she can
You
read
know,
Draconic.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
She probably
Well,
knows somebody that does.
she
She'll know
probably-
some. If she knows a single magic user, they'll be able
I
to read.
mean, Hamich probably.
Does anybody-
Sandwich.
Damn it.
Sandwich.
Does anybody
Hamich.
know Infernal? Does anybody here else know Infernal?
No,
Nope.
I just got Common and Draconic.
Okay.
I just know Common and Elvish.
Oh, you know Elvish? Good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Do you guys say that to each other in Elvish?
yeah. Yeah. Who does?
What does the
Oh,
wind
what's
blow
that?
today?
Sprechen Sie Deutsch, Elbisch?
Wow,
Uh,
not even
I know.
close.
I know.
Welsh, not German.
Oh, that's
I know
right. Yeah.
Elvish and Goblin.
Mardigan is scowling at you unseen. Shadows.
What do your eyes see today, Tobias? No, wait.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess we just walk downstairs.
I guess so.
Oh
right.
boy. Well,
What persona
Oh,
are you
boy.
wearing, Charlatan?
Put your cloak up over your face, huh?
I'll wear Elias.
Elias.
But
Noted.
hood up.
Sebastian's a little excitable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You make your way now down towards the bottom of the stairs and out onto the streets. And as you do,
Let's find a guard. Yeah.
I was gonna say, coming down the stairs, like, you think
I
guys
do
think we could
this.
still get the breakfast? You think breakfast? is available?
Yeah, the continental breakfast.
Yeah.
The
continental dinner at this hour.
The self-made waffles.
Yeah.
You are playing a halfling true to form. Man.
Yes. Do they have good food in prison?
gruel, nothing but gruel. We did that last week, but I don't care. It's such a great episode. Great episode.
Suck your soul out.
All right.
And oi!
And ahoy!
A few weeks in a row is funny.
It's so good. It's so good. As you're stepping into the street, you immediately see 3 different groups of guards, and all of you kind of share that look, that we're about to get arrested look.
Yeah.
We're here for a meeting.
Yeah. Where have you guys been? We've been looking for you guys.
I know.
Everywhere.
Trying to avoid the busy streets, and there you are.
Well,
The cop tells you get pulled over for speeding. I got here fast as I could.
Yeah.
so
You know why I stopped you tonight? Because you got C's in college.
Because I got C's in college.
ow. I don't recommend saying that. But the guards note your presence either way. They're
Right.
here.
And before they say anything, I'd like to say, could you escort us to the castle?
Yeah, they're coming over,
You,
all
good man.
rushing with
Yes,
spears.
good man.
Do you
Hey,
actually say
hey.
that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Could you?
Yeah,
escort us to
sure.
the castle? Yeah.
And the captain seems kind of real smirk. He's like, yeah, sure, of course we can, but we're gonna do it our way. Hands behind your back.
I'm not gonna get a good tip with an attitude like
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say.
Not looking for a tip. I'm following orders. You were told that you were being sequestered at the Rearguard Tavern, Rearguard Inn, and here we are finding you in a completely different district. This doesn't
the note
bode
said,
well.
the note said wayward flagon.
Roll a deception check.
I'm actually
Do
pretty
it.
good at those.
Oh, good.
All right, guys, this is where we need it to be a good roll.
Right,
I
yeah.
believe.
Problem is,
17.
Not bad.
if we didn't have the note, this would work great. So
One note.
yeah. He
This
eats
doesn't
it.
bode well.
See, Cal eats
Oh,
it.
no.
You start eating the note.
Yeah, he's like,
So the guard looks at Elias, looks back at the rest of you, and says, "Little cheeky, huh? Very well.
This
Follow
was a
us.
shot.
Follow us."
Okay.
We heard the
And-
breakfast here was amazing.
That was good.
All of the guards begin to
Yep.
gather around
Those-
until eventually it's about 80 guards that are actually ferrying you through this district. Remember, this
Arlen,
is
what
the
did you
district
do?
with Castle Dusk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We could wave at the crowd.
Right, yeah.
It's a parade.
You can note.
On the way there, we all started going, Attica, Attica.
Nice.
Let's see.
You actually note some distinction among some of the guards that are leading you. Their armor is much heavier, much better. There is certainly a distinction in rank, a cut above some of these guard. And you know what? You haven't seen any in this resplendent in this kind of armor yet. But as you turn the corner, you now can see the looming Castle Dusk. It is a large castle complex with multiple buildings and platforms, and you are heading up a staircase at the moment, leading to a large portcullis, which is currently raised. And there, another 20 guards ready to receive. And you are then brought into the castle complex, and the guards begin to move you over towards what you can see as a beautiful, large, spherical topped building, where actually you can see the slots where it's an open air concept towards the top. And a large set of stairs.
Resale value.
Right? Yeah. More staircases that lead up into that specific building complex, and you are taken in that direction. At this point in time, the sun is moved over, not full dusk yet, but now in that part of the sky. And it gives this beautiful shine onto the marble. And you are escorted up the stairs, which eventually leads you into a large marbled foyer. The guards then disperse, save for two. The two in this heavier armor. They turn, give each other nods, move you over towards the chamber doors, and then unlock the irons around you. They then come around and open, or pressing in the doors, opening them, and walk into a large room. Following the guards, dressed in this attire of greater grandeur than that of the other guards you have dealt with so far in the city, you head through the opening of this room, which actually has yet one more portcullis that leads into a larger room. The first thing you notice how brightly lit this room is. The sunlight pouring in from the tops of the room, through which you can hear birdsong. Looking now to the interior of the room, you take in the impressive circular chamber, which has taken advantage of the space of this room. With the witness, prosecution, and defense platforms all located in a semicircle opposite to the higher council bench, which you now regard, an open, chasmous space between the two platforms. As you approach the central right side of the justice platform, you now smell the fragrance of lemon and tea leaves, which seems to waft up actually from the bottommost sections of the room, the large chasm before you. The sunlight now touches your skin, a feeling of warmth and glow. As all of you stand close together, the guards now moving around and behind you, taking several steps back, though not far enough that they couldn't hear you should you speak to each other. The room echoes the sound of near silence, a dull, indiscernible rumble mixed with an occasional birdsong. It is now that you can take in the ceiling of the room as your eyes all move upwards. The mid-afternoon sun beats down from the rows of angled mirrors attached to where the walls meet the ceiling. Their bright beams are almost blinding, shining down onto the central platform that you have been ushered to. A faint breeze sweeps through the open-air courtroom, a brief respite for the sweat beginning to bead on your brows. Though the air itself is anything but stale, the tension and mood that fill it could be cut with a knife. As you stand, your eyes fall back to the marbled sitting area across the chamber, which is already occupied by what you assume to be the special counsel. On the far left is a surly-looking hill dwarf, his dark brown hair pulled back in a man bun, or dwarf bun in this case, and his nose bends to the side after not properly healing, likely years ago. He is currently sitting upright with arms crossed, a look of outright disdain on his face as he regards each and every one of you. On his left sits a half-elven female with a larger-than-normal physique. Her blonde hair is done up in a messy bun and is currently using a handkerchief to dab at her lips, a small smear of chocolate coming off on it as she sets the kerchief down. You note her hand darts towards her neckline, below where you can actually see at the bench. And she glances toward the dwarf briefly, smiles cordially, and then looks up towards you. Her smile falls, and her eyes dart sideways, not wishing to make any contact with any of you directly. Her eyes bounce then towards a human male on her left, who is seated towards the center of the small council. As her eyes meet his, she looks down, now a glance of disgust on her face as her nostrils flare and her upper lip curls. A man, resplendent in brightly colored priest's robes, made seemingly of dawn itself, bright hues of oranges, pinks, and goldenrod that scintillate in the bright sunlight. The middle-aged man seems not to be paying her any mind, but is instead whispering into the ear of a hooded figure that you catch only briefly as they retreat swiftly and leaving your field of vision. The man's smile lines intensify as he sees you for the first time, eyebrows raising as his eyes rest upon you. Cal, he notes your armor and curts oddly, an apparent appreciation for the heavy chain shirt and greatsword, and you instinctively shift your belt, adjusting the longsword now to be even more out of sight than it already was. The man now looks to his far right and winces as though shocked, cringing in discomfort, which draws all of your eyes naturally as well. A female human, dressed in a dark, hooded robe of purples, blues, and blacks that glitter with the shine that can only come from the sun striking shiny stones. Her eyes are covered by her hood, which is currently pointed towards all of you. It shifts upward only slightly to reveal the bottom portion of her face, her pale skin an alabaster backdrop to the dark lipstick she applied earlier today. She hardly moves, seeming to be in a constant regard of everyone around her, without moving at all. The individual sitting between the two humans on the far right side, according to your perspective, is a full-blooded elf whose ears point skyward, and his grin shows a perfect smile. As your gaze turns towards him, his brow raises and creases in his forehead, betraying that he is no young elf, but is more likely middle-aged. His orange, blonde hair, catching the sun, still doesn't gleam as much as the bright orange of his eyes. He is adorned by comfortable clothes and is setting the playing cards he had been shuffling aside as he prepares for the hearing to begin. His eyes drift towards you, but then his head turns. His eyes now fixed on a point to your right, another platform, upon which sits a person you finally recognize. Commander Danium Kane, who is currently slumped in a chair of poor quality, his eyes downcast in a state of apparent dejection and sorrow. Wearing commoner's clothes and armorless, you had hardly noticed his presence before this moment. You take note that he is not looking towards any of you, but instead makes eyes toward one final person of note in the room, who is currently standing and walking towards the large central space of the chamber. A young human woman whose braided dark brown hair falls over her left shoulder, which now reveals that she is clad in brightly metalled half-plate, a thin blade sheathed at her side, and a side glance to drive any man crazy. Likely only in her late 20s, her regard for you is currently cold, obviously unsure of how yet to think of you, but her eyes darken ever so slightly as she puffs herself up, taking in quite the breath as she then projects her voice out into the courtroom. Refugees of Corinth and your Dolirii companions, you are being summoned here to account for your information, witnessing involvement, and potential conspiring to damage the city-state of Kywind and all of its people. I am called Janelle, Steward of Dusk Castle. If I may, I will now call each of you by name to confirm your appearance here within Castle Dusk. Elias Gaunt.
I'll
You
take
give-
the hood down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the hood down. Step forward and say, at your service.
Turpin Hardfoot.
Your Highness.
Please, no such formalities.
Uh,
Arlen Fairn.
That's me.
Cal Trevelyan.
Present.
Chilburn DeMarcus.
Here.
Very well. Thank you. I'm here to preside over this hearing, a special council which is here to listen to your arguments and testimonies. Should they find you guilty, you shall appear before our formal courts to be tried and judged. If not, well, then your fate remains within your own ability to influence. Either way, please allow me to present the members of this council to you. Starting on the far left is Broderick Silverpick, owner and proprietor of the Dusk Mines. The dwarf, then, as you are all Gazes shift to him, places one of his hands down on the tabletop in front of him. His second hand reaches up and strokes his ornately decorated beard. You know, see flecks of blue and black in the tips of his fingers and under his nails, as though he works directly with rare metals. His scowl continues, completely unmoved by his introduction. Next is Eliza Fairchild, creator and owner of the Dusk Fair, which you allegedly aided in the defense of. The half-elf female nods slightly, seemingly not as foully disposed as the dwarf is, and instinctively she turns to the man in the middle, seemingly out of respect for the introductory process. In the center is the Dawn Bishop, Verlic Starr. She now turns to him, bowing slightly. Thank you for joining us, Your Eminence. Why, Miss Stewart the Comely, it is my pleasure to sit here and welcome these dastardly defenders to our beautiful city. My absolute pleasure. He finishes, obviously, building up his own words with an air of importance befitting the likes of a bishop. Janelle, taken aback, stumbles for just a moment. Thank you, Dawn Bishop. She recovers with little grace, moving her hand up in a gesture to the fourth person sitting on the council bench. Next up is the premier presider over the Theaters of Twilight, the Enigma himself, Mr. Mythilus Twilight. The High Elf smiles and bows his head. And as his head rises back up, he takes note, Timaeus, of your ears and cocks his head ever so slightly. Lastly is the High Priestess of Dusk, Twyla Shadowhand. Her voice trails off as her eyes shift from the council back towards the center of the room and across the way of her own person. You are joined by Commander Danium Kane of the Windwall Guard, who is also being investigated by the Special Council. At which point, you see now standing up between you and the young steward is the saddened, obviously poor-rested commander you had met the day prior. He makes eyes towards you and smiles to the best of his ability. A couple of well-adorned guards behind him as well, both of whom watch him closely. Bringing this prosecution against you all is Mr. Krint, at which point a deep voice cuts her off. Not anymore, Lady Steward. The deep voice, interrupting loudly now for the whole room to hear. Krint Hollards has agreed that I'll be levying the questions and charges personally. The individual finishes importantly. And now as you look to your left, a gray-skinned half-orc in heavy plate that glistens and gleams in the mirror-bent sunlight. A glaive standing upright laid against the guardrail just within arm's reach of the decorated general. His black dreadlocked hair pulled back tightly against his skull, his wide eyes flashing as they land on Commander Kane. General, but the Silver Commander, Dane Karadir, knows I am here and proves this necessary force of checks and balances. This is long overdue, based on the Commander's performance within the last couple of years. There's a slight audible grumble from the council at these words as they leave the orc's mouth. Very well, but you know that this requires... Yes, call the Supreme Arbiter. I'd hate for that alcoholic pacifist to miss his opportunity to feel needed for once. Janelle turns to all of you, a look of shock not lost on her face. She recovers from the shock quickly, attempting to ignore the character attack, and proceeds with the business of the meeting. This court then recognizes General Yulf Rock-Turner as the prosecution. Bailiff, please summon the Supreme Arbiter, Galbor the Fair. She concedes, now looking up towards the Special Council, shrugging. The tension only intensifies over the next 5 minutes as the room awaits the arrival. No one speaks, causing the silence to be louder than a scream until a noise finally distracts from the discomfort of the situation. The door opening above the council affects a swift mood change, as a seat you had not yet noticed is taken by a hunched-over man, small only in the stature of a physical disability, his health having taken an obvious decline in recent history. He waves his hand feebly, and a woman takes her spot nearby to him, her red hair bright in the sunshine, done up in a tight bun with 2 glistening brass knitting needles protruding from the tops of it. A flash of sunlight as she puts on a pair of slim spectacles, and pulling a small apparatus from her bag, applying a bright red lipstick, likely a shade or two brighter than what she actually needs. And now we are joined by the Supreme Arbiter Galbor the Fair and Rayala Merriworth, official record keeper of Kywind. Are we ready now to begin? As she asks this question, she looks over to the half-orc general and then up to the special counsel, obviously feeling as though the situation has escalated beyond what she was expecting initially. Yes, we shall. Yulf bursts out quickly, straightening up, importantly looking at the council as well. I am here to present evidence against Danium Kane, commander of the Windwall Guard, as he is guilty of dereliction of duty, oversight of his command and post, and a treasonous conspiracy against the people of Kywind. To this, there is a shifting among the council members. And that is when his eyes then turn to you. As for these individuals, I knew that he had conscripted some adventuring group to his aid, but that is neither here or there, as he is not capable currently of any sort of deputization under our laws and decrees. He is suspect, and as such, these individuals should be treated as civilian witnesses, not as spokespeople or proven investigators of our city.
I object.
The whole court turns and looks now at Cal. At which point, Janelle, the steward, says, "Pardon, Mr. Trevelyan."
At the time of our deputization, he was not recused of any command, and we were officially deputized.
And what time, pray, were you deputized by Commander Danium Kane?
Precisely after the end of the attack in the Dusk Fair.
Interesting.
We were tasked to find a boy that had been captured and taken during the raid.
Is this true, Commander Danium? You see, the human male, now a slight smirk on his face, says, I did do that. Yes. They were deputized right after the Windwall Guard made their way to the Dusk Fair, right towards the end of the aerial assault. We were delayed. Janelle, the steward, now takes a step. If this is the case, shall we get you a box?
No, ma'am. I have a small question. Like, does this mean we're getting badges? Like, because we haven't received those yet. If we are deputies, is that like a star? Is that official?
Cal just puts his hand in his face.
She gives a little bit of a side smirk, like okay, all right, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Point of order.
The general actually cuts in. No. Not unless this council foresees it to be prudent to actually deputize you in the name of the entire city of Kywind.
That would be very handy if yeah, okay.
Guys, I know what the goal for this meeting is.
Yeah, he wants a star.
The evidence is such. Commander Danium should not have the right to do any of this anyway. He has put all of us at great, terrible, personal risk. He should have stepped down long ago. All of us know that Andric, the unfortunate death of this beloved captain, has resulted in the commander's steady decline. And as such, I have witnesses lined up that can testify to the fact that Commander Danium not only knew that there was a potential threat, but did nothing to curb that threat and prevent the destruction of the Dusk Fair that we now see.
Objection.
You see the council kind of shift. The general then looks over at Cal, who speaks up, and Janelle, the steward, says, "What objection do you have to this bringing of information?"
We have evidence to support that the commander's brother was assassinated, and that someone received a large payout due to this assassination.
You see almost this taken aback moment, and you look over towards the general, and the general has this inquisitive look. It's not a look of how dare you, it's a look of how did you come into this information? And so at this point, the steward, Lady Janelle, she now looks up towards the council. If it pleases the council, I wish to ask for the testimony of these 5 individuals and see what exactly it is that they have been up to.
Yeah. With all due respect, I will continue if you so desire.
Very well, so long as you can swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you all of the gods.
I swear to tell nothing but the truth and the whole truth, so help me all the gods.
I do will work.
I do.
Very well. Please,
do you have a
tell
book
us
now?
your story.
So, after the attack on we were deputized in, we put together some leads that we felt might behoove us to go after looking for this boy. Franklin is the name of this child that was taken. We, through very quickly investigating and overhearing some conversation, noted some unusual occurrences in the dust mines, which we decided to then investigate, having been deputized by a commander of the watch, and figured that we could start our investigation immediately. So we left and started to conduct an investigation. There, we encountered several gnolls, very similar to those that we had encountered and fought earlier that day.
A point of order, she says. At what time did you leave for the dusk mines?
I will give the time that we left.
Okay, yeah, so it was like 2-ish, 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Okay, very well, continue on.
In that time, we uncovered a hidden mine shaft with large illusions in order to conceal the fact that it even existed. And I'll...
Shaft 872 to be precise.
Yes, shaft 872. Inside there were...
You, Arlen, as you're looking up, you see the dwarf really fast write that down, and he circles it. You see the movement of his quill.
I also want to do a silent insight check on the general.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Aren't
read these
all
people.
insight checks silent?
Yeah, real.
It's the out loud ones you gotta really look out for.
Because normally what Cody does is he looks at a dude and goes,
Yeah.
I wonder what you're thinking. What are you thinking? I'm going to read your mind.
You see the eyebrow arch, like yes, exactly.
Very much
22.
so. Okay. 22. You see him kind of, he kind of leans forward and he grips this stone rail as, you know, if it were to give way, he would fall into the large chasm below you. But he's currently just listening, taking in every single word, and his eyes go back and forth from Danium to your group, and you get the distinct suspicion that he's trying to think of certain counter defenses and arguments, points to bring back up to either refute your story or to prove that you had some sort of nefarious connection to the commander as a result of all this.
That's fair. We went in this direction due to some allegations of several disgruntled workers of one Drexel Warhammer.
You see, Arlen, your eyes dart up again, and you can see the dwarf is continuing to write, and he gives a slight shake of his head, and then underlines.
As we fought, we came up through one of the elevators. There were several other human guards at the time that released a rather large gnoll, and many of the humans fled. We then tailed that human to an establishment in the Twilight District. There, we encountered...
I'll add to that that the winds of good fortune.
At this, you see the elf kind of lean forward, and he puts his hand up over his face and kind of just leaves it there.
And then I'm going to like feign a wince of pain and lean forward and like just kind of like lift my foot like a little bit I get hurt, and I said, oh, apologies. I am recovering from a recent bout of callus rot.
Yes, I was getting to that. While we were in the mines, we discovered some documents. A letter here, and I'll pull out this letter, dictating orders that we had assumed, and a second stage of an attack, and a conspiracy to defraud the current leaders of the city, as well as a calendar.
The whole council leans forward.
In order to directly undermine Commander Kane, and
Who,
other members
by
here.
the way, who, it should be noted, should not be accused of these things, seeing as how it was his orders that sent us to this discovery.
Correct. Using this calendar, we determined that there was a passcode to enter into this other establishment where we might find more information. Upon reaching that establishment and tailing this individual, we were forced to engage in combat again. However, we triumphed over said individuals and criminals, I suspect, and recovered more documents and information. And I'll start to pull out the books and said these books detail several payments that have been sent out. In accordance to rumors that we have accomplished, the wife of the accident received a large payout in this sum.
Yeah, I point out that it's actually quite the coincidence that she happened to win a large sum of money at this casino merely days removed from the death of her beloved husband.
The Dawn Bishop kind of leans forward. Pray tell, what was the name of this wife of the criminal? If I
wrote it down. Where is it?
April
Notes.
Muldoon.
Yes.
And that's
April
why we keep
Muldoon. Interesting.
That's why
Does
we
that-
keep a wizard in the party.
Rayala, does that actually check with the documentation of Karel Muldoon? And you hear a voice come down. Yes, I have record that they were wed. Yes, she has been noted to move. She has moved out of the city of Kywind. We are not sure where. She would not disclose that information. Very
Interesting.
well.
We'd also
At this
know
point,
that-
the general kind of butts in. He said, "This obviously they are speaking and even acknowledging crimes that they have committed against our city. They
Deputized.
were deputized by the commander. That does not then give them license to murder civilians in the street, following them, tailing them, breaking and entering into."
After they attacked us.
Self-defense.
Your claim of self-defense is noted, but I will say the Windwall Guard has been noted to be cleaning up corpses out of the Winds of Good Fortune building this day. Is
Yeah,
that
which we-
correct, Danium Kane? I do not know. I have not been able to attend to my post per this sequestering. He looks now over at the general, and for the first time gives him a bit of a glare. His eyes come back now towards Broddard. Mr. Silverpick, here's what you need to know. They have testified that they have broken into your private business establishment, did battle with something down there, investigated, poked around mines that I'm sure require special access to. Did you sign off on any of that? No, I did not sign off on any such searchings of my own business. Thank you very kindly. Very well.
Charlton's gonna take a look at the bishop. Is he wearing? I'm assuming he's wearing robes of office.
Oh yeah, definitely. These are you
is
expect these to be Dawn Bishop.
Is he
robes.
wearing any specific holy symbol that I might recognize?
So the Church of Dawn, actually, what you see with the Church of Dawn, what you have seen is people that are wearing a half sun,
Mm-hmm.
but the sun is above, right?
Yeah.
as though it is coming up. And the brilliant goldenrod color, orange color, pinkish purple color, those are the gemstones that are inlaid in these, or the paint that is used on some of the lesser, less expensive variations of it. The Church of the Dusk, it is the inverse, where the sun is down below, as though it is setting below the actual line of the horizon, and that one is the dark blues, dark purples, and blacks.
Okay, so he's Dawn.
He is Dawn. He is the Dawn
Okay.
Bishop. Whereas Twyla has been identified as the High Priestess of Dusk.
I step forward and say, Dawn Bishop Star. My name, as has already been announced, is Elias Gaunt, cleric of Kamaria.
Interesting.
I know that my faith is not overly common here in your lovely city.
No, it is not.
But as a fellow man of the cloth, I wonder if there is anything that I might do, any assurance I might give, that would speak to our sincerity, not only in making these claims, but also in the rightness of our actions.
It is interesting. And at this point, the general says, objection. You cannot use faith in your gods as a means by which to break the rules of Kywind. The laws of this state are determined by either the Church of the Dawn or the Dusk, and in this case, more people ascribe to the Dawn for their sense of leadership than they do to the Dusk.
Well, then,
Be that as it may, my dear sweet general. What can I say? I am intrigued at his offer.
ask of me what you will.
Well, this evidence that you found. Certainly, are there any further implications you wish to bring up? You brought up April Muldoon. Please, Miss Lady Steward, you can tell us that these individuals are not on our records as having ever entered this city before, and yet they already know the name of one of the greatest criminals we have had the privilege of hanging within the last century, last decade. Surely they know more than what they let on about. Janelle
okay.
kind of takes a moment and says, yes, you are correct. We do not have record of these individuals before this time, although I will say there is also a note of the women and 2 children that came with them, as well as 1 additional Zaminde tribe man that has left our city with a known contact of both Elias here and Turpin. Take that for what you will.
Brendan, can you remind me, because I spent hours recopying.
Oh,
those
sure.
letters, Can you remind me what it said about the bishop, like what his crimes were?
Oh boy, the bishop. Yes.
The
bishop is he is believed to have embezzled funds from the church and also engaged in sexual misconduct of harassment of his congregation.
Okay. So I'll let them finish up playing this little chess match then.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of just takes that time to sit and look, and at this point, Miss Fairchild, Eliza, the half elf, she kind of leans forward, and says, "That is all well and good, but my curiosity actually comes at why the need to then jump from district to district, tailing after this individual, having left the Dusk Mines, and now we find out about they're getting into this district, tailing after a potential criminal. What does this have to say about the level of our security and the actual guard doing its duty? Commander Danium, this does not look favorable for you in this moment, I must say."
I will say it was rather difficult to skirt through all the districts.
But not impossible. And that leads us to ask more questions about the efficacy of the Windwall Guard and their current station as a means of protecting our fair city.
Forgive me. I am, as I said, as you have all mentioned, new to your fair city, but I'm not certain how you are led to believe that it was the commander's fault when, unless I am mistaken, wasn't there recently a great deal of money spent on improving city security beyond his purview? And yet, we newcomers some of us have only spent nearly 24 hours in your city were able to move about so freely.
That is concerning. And I think it speaks more to the character of the gods than it does necessarily to the money that we've spent and made in investing into walls, aqueducts, checkpoints. Those running those checkpoints are the reason they should be successful.
Excuse me, then you're blaming the soldiers. And I look to the general.
Blaming the Windwall Guard, not the Dusk or Dawn Brigades. Those soldiers are stationed ready to handle enemies from without, whereas the Windwall Guard is meant to handle enemies within.
Understood.
I did find another piece of evidence I would like to submit. And I'll pull out letter 5.
Well, I've got all the letters on me hidden.
Yeah, that was a decision.
You would know that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another letter. And this is more implication than actual evidence, which is why it was not brought up at this point. Of a Commander Dane Carradine.
Dane Carradine. Yolf kind of
he's
leans
right there.
in.
Yeah.
He would be the commander of the commander of the Duskside Battalion.
Yeah.
Speak your next words carefully.
Again,
we need not speak them, good sir. And then I'll produce letter 5.
This is simply
Janelle walks over and takes the letter. She moves it along and actually walks up and around up to where the council sits and passes the letter off to Twyla, whose very, very pale hand comes, graciously grabs and brings it back down, opens the letter. You see, still not seeing any of her eyes, but then a gracious, gentle passing of it over to Mythilis. As you're speaking, you can see them kind of take turns looking at the letter as it makes its way across.
This is not real evidence, I know. It is only suggestion, but this was found in the den of people who have been found to be laundering money and making out payments to actively discredit the guard.
Yolf takes a moment. If I may, Council, I still have the witnesses waiting on their testimony. The evidence against Danium, and for the attack that we saw yesterday upon the Dusk Fair. We will hear their testimony, the Dawn Bishop says. I'm curious, do you have any more letters to show us? You said that was letter number 5.
No, I said I pull out letter number 5. I don't know what he said.
I
was clear.
In my head, I said that I meant to say letter.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
My indication of letter 5 was saying that's the one I'm referencing.
Okay.
I present you letter number 5.
That's what I was going off of. So the question still remains. So do you have any other letters? This one, it's about Dane Carradine, who was not a part of this. And yet at the same time, the evidence is pertinent to what this council might decide.
Why is everybody looking at me?
Cal's gonna make a decision here, guys, and I'm sorry.
No, that's what we told you to do.
The truth shall set you free.
There were other letters. That
How
we
many
have in our
letters? Janelle says.
A total of 7.
Noted.
You see Elias just kind of go,
Yep.
yeah, like that.
This is.
He leans over to Arlen and says, "Get ready to kill everything."
And this is why I was hesitant to mention this at first, because it does implicate several members that I see present here that I had yet to meet until we were all introduced just a few minutes ago, of several potential wrongdoings that may or may not be slanders, but it indicates a deeper, wide, either conspiracy to blackmail, or
If it pleases the council, I would have these letters produced. That way we might determine for ourselves if we believe them to be valid. Janelle, the steward.
Are we the only one? Is this an open hearing? Is there like an audience?
No,
It's closed.
it is closed, but there are multiple guards that are here. There is also apparently the Supreme Arbiter all the way above listening to all of this as it is being talked about.
Perhaps we should hand them
And
to
also
him.
the record keeper of Kywind itself.
Well, no,
sitting
because
at
the
his
record
side.
Well,
keeper
no,
is one of
yeah.
these people.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, Brendan, remind me, what does the guy that runs the Twilight Theater District, what did he say?
Mythilus Twilight. Extortation, and blackmail.
Extortion, I think is what it is.
Extortion. Yeah, that's, thank
dodge
you. I appreciate that.
inspections.
Extortion and blackmail to dodge inspections, and pretty much to let them kind of skirt by certain building code.
And
Which-
to meta here, there is one member that has not have a letter. Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I just wanna comply law.
Shadow Hand.
the dusk
High
bishop,
Priestess of
right?
Dusk.
Which doesn't exactly remove guilt. From
No,
No,
she
in
could
fact,
be the one that wrote them.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Cal
the
will
only
say-
only other one that does not have a letter written to would be the general Yulf
Yulf Rock Turner. That's right.
Yeah,
Correct.
So we don't have Yolf and we don't have the Twyla.
Right.
And then the
Um,
Galbor too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was it
Or
it's
the-
Twilight?
yeah, the-
It's Myth. What's his name again?
Arbiter.
Mythilus Twilight.
Okay, so I'm gonna reach into my hidden bag kind of thing.
Yeah.
pull out. It says, "Well, we were so hesitant to share all of these, seeing as how, to accuse
We wouldn't dream.
the fair Mythilus here of such crimes like extortion and dodging inspections. I mean, really, that's quite the what's the word I'm looking for here, Cal?
Accusation.
Accusation is that it's scandalous, isn't it? It's scandalous.
Which is why we were hesitant
Mythilus kind of takes a minute to,
then
he
for-
crosses
and-
his arms and he looks across and shakes his head like, "No, it wasn't me."
crying out loud, I mean, look at the bishop sitting there. He's so regal in his bearing, and to suggest that he would ever be guilty of any sexual transgression against the members of his congregation, and I start flipping through them.
You see the Don Bishop. There is roll an insight check.
I'm looking.
Yeah, come on, Arlen. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, you can
I
see
would-
like beads of sweat rolling down Arlen's. He is eyeballing him hard.
He hasn't blinked in
Only
an
a
hour.
12.
Oh,
12.
There we go. Natural 19, 25.
21 for Cal, as
Oh,
he's
wow.
watching all of these as we're reading these things off.
Yeah.
I'm not proficient, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I am.
There is a moment where his eyes widen and he looks over to the side and then regains himself very, very quickly and says,
quickly.
"Preposterous!"
Exactly. I
Sure,
thought exactly that the moment I read it. But then also, to think that the fair clerk Merriwith would actively destroy government documents and contracts. Preposterous. Or to eat the worst of all. I really think so. I don't know how you feel about it, but the rest of you. But to say that Lady Stewart would ever rig an election for governor twice. And then I hold up.
She steps back and
In,
roll an insight on that one too.
inside. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well delivered. I like it.
That
20.
is only
21.
Very well.
a 14 for me.
Okay. All right.
Good on your own.
We don't.
Probably, but
There for what you see on Janelle, actually, not only do you see shock and surprise, but you see a flash of righteous and just indignant anger.
Yeah.
And a sense of duty almost.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that that's probably not true.
And then to go and to suggest that, of course, at all, of not only these few, but of Master Silverpick as well, and Miss the lovely Miss Fairchild, and to say nothing of those that we've already mentioned, as you can see here. But it does concerning, considering that these are all different parchments written in different hands at clearly different times. But here, please inspect them at your leisure.
The steward comes over and snatches the remaining 6 letters from you and walks them very quickly with very furious footsteps up to the top of the council, and begins to hand each of them to
the respective person.
Twyla. No, she starts with Twyla, and then they are all
okay.
handed down the line. And she makes her way now back down to the beginning and
Our
says,
current running
No, go ahead,
theory-
go ahead.
No,
if she's walking down as you're speaking.
As she's doing this, our current running theory is potentially that these are all just rumors that are being used, that if we're circulated into the right hands, might be used to discredit you all.
Well, I should say so, the dwarf says, kind of leaning back in his
I would
his
hope
chair.
so.
That having been said, it is interesting to me that the only person other than the only people in this room other than our persons that are not implicated in these horrendous accusations that are quite specific, mind you, is Twyla, the Grand Arbiter, Yolf here. Is it Yolf? Yeah.
Yolf.
Yolf
Yeah.
here. And then, of course, the dear, and in our experience, quite noble and honorable Commander Danian.
You can see each of these people is kind of taken aback as this information is sliding across their desk. Janelle is the first one to recover, and she says, "Have you uncovered any other information that this council might take into special consideration?"
As of right now, no.
What?
But
No.
I would like to.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Told
I
you
missed
to
it. There was
have
something else I missed.
There was another payment
Oh,
that was
yes.
made to a Donatus Flay.
At that point, all the individuals raise their head and look at you.
I believe is a coroner.
Mortician, coroner,
Mortician?
undertaker, gravedigger, whatever.
Janelle says, "Miss Rayala, yes, Donatus Flay was the coroner from, from 576 AX until 602 AX.
How long ago was that?
It is 604,
Okay.
2 years ago. At which point he retired and has been living in the city ever since."
Again,
Hmm.
It just seems to me, again, I am a humble cleric, but it seems to me that while I'm certain the captain or the commander here is not a perfect man, does anybody in this room really think that he has the resources, let alone the time, to put all of this together as well as an attack on the Dusk Fair? Unless he has a
That
battalion,
remains to be seen. You'll
a battalion of eagles in his
cuts in.
pocket.
It is interesting that you should mention that, Elias. I will summon my 3 witnesses to the stand.
Yeah.
And
I would
3
like to,
guards actually make their way up to standing behind Yulf.
as that's happening, I would say, I would like to point out to the special counsel that we have been in this city for for a little over 24 hours, and we have managed
I mean,
to
they
find all
have.
of...
We've been here longer, but
Yeah.
Myself has been here for less than 24 hours, and we managed to find all of this
it's
information.
lovely, by the way. You
If
can't get enough of it.
our deputization was formalized by this council to do further investigations, think of what else we might find.
Oh boy.
Arlen, your passive perception, you see Silverpick kind of lean over and mouth something to Eliza, at which she kind of snaps a look and giggles a little bit. So, with that, my first witness was on the walls yesterday of the attack. And the individual stands up. If it pleases the court, my name is Smith and Fultz, member of the...
What? Who?
I was on duty the day of the attack, yesterday. And as it was time for the change of the guard, we went to make our rotations, and the doors that would have let us out to see any kind of eagles making their way over the wall entirely, each of these doors was locked. To the ramparts, the platforms, the wall tops themselves. We were incapable of doing our jobs. Someone had locked these doors and stopped us from getting out. Someone who would have known the rotations. I'm not suspecting Commander Danium himself, but I will say that there was a traitor within our midst. Within the guard itself. And that does fall to the commander to root out.
Which was confirmed by the fact that one of the people that we captured during the Dust Fair was a member of the guard.
Yes, it should be... at this point, Janelle says, yes, it should be noted that we have heard of this individual who has been captured and yet not released from the Dust Guard itself. So any looking into of this individual has been actually overseen, and apparently the questions that you have asked of him have all been... There has been no representative outside of the Windwall Guard to actually account for any of these things. Your investigation into yourself is questionable, Commander. At what point he kind of lets his head fall a little bit and looks up at her, and he doesn't really do much else with that. At which point the second individual steps up and says, if it pleases the court, my name is Hagen Meyerwitt. I am one of the ones to oversee record keeping within the Windwall Guard. And there was, within some of our record keeping books, all of you should know that the large giant eagles that we use to protect our city, all of them belong to the Windwall Guard. And yet, we have lost all but 5 of them. We do not know where they went. The last time that they were sent out on mission was per the request of Danian Kane himself. At that point, they have not returned. And there was more signatures to stop further investigation into where they went. Mostly to not lose any more eagles within whatever it is that caused these other ones to become lost in the first place. He steps back and the third one steps up. Maximus Grain. You can see now, Mythilus kind of laughs. You're telling me that we're going to take the words of an illegitimately born child as something we should take into consideration with this special council? He kind of looks at Yulf. Yulf says, he speaks as one coming forward. Mr. Twilight, I would ask you to hear what he has to say. Very well. The individual then steps forward and says, on the day in question, we have noted that all of the individuals that were either captured, killed, or being injured at any point in time during the raid on the Dusk Fair were those who were either off-duty Windwall Guard soldiers or petty criminals that we have been keeping watch on. So please, I ask of you, this is a conspiracy that is grand, and would need direction and leadership coming from the top by which to orchestrate it. There is at least reason to have doubt in our current leadership and command.
Brendan,
At which point, yeah, go ahead.
do any of the people who came forth, were they on the list of names to receive payments?
Foltz, Meyerwit, and Grain? No. But apparently, Grain would be more like a surname given to, kind of like Jon Snow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, with that, Yolf kind of leans forward and says, lastly, Commander Danium he has not been taking the time necessary to grieve. His choices have been questionable. His leadership, non-apparent. Non-existent in some circumstances. There is dissension within his own guard. Things are happening that our city cannot contain. Not if it continues. My recommendation to the council is that he be stripped of his title, placed in arrest, and questioned, interrogated as necessary until we find and discover the true plot of this, and leave the command of securing the city to the Dawn Brigade and Duskside battalions. We will do what is necessary to keep this city safe. Institute a martial law that we might fully discover this plot.
Excuse me. Pardon? May I speak, please?
Seeing as you have interrupted me already.
You're saying that because Commander Kane, I believe you said it was his brother's death?
Endrick, yes, 2 years ago.
So that has crushed him over these last 2 years, you're saying, correct?
And he has done nothing to improve himself.
So he has done nothing but coordinate a attack of eagles and
what motivation?
Yes, and signed us to do his dirty work and coordinated the locking of the gates, and you can't have it both ways. I don't.
Forgive me, General.
Pardon the happenstance of your being deputized and all of your findings, but the reality is that either he is profiting off of his brother Andrick's information and reading and rooting out this city's power core for himself, or he has been so derelict in his duty that he has allowed what his brother discovered to actually come true. A greater... And you see he takes this moment, like looks over at Danium and says, a greater folly, one that he'll be remembered for.
So it's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't.
It seems as though, yes.
So there is... This is not a trial then, I guess, is it?
This is a special council meeting.
Ah, understood. Thank you.
I'm also curious about a few words I've heard so far, if I could. I've heard the word in regards to the good Commander Danian here. Questionable, concerning, doubt, non-apparent, non-existence. Forgive me, lords and ladies, but that doesn't sound like evidence to me.
All hearsay, and all the evidence that we have submitted to this special council today suggests that this is a conspiracy to defraud this man, create several attacks to discredit him and remove him from power, which tells me that there is something or someone, a force, trying to remove him from his position. And I'll turn to the to General Wolf and I'll say, while he may be acting in good faith at this moment, I suspect that if we were to go with the general's suggestion, we would be playing directly into whatever this unseen force's plans are.
Did we mention phase 2 and phase 3?
We did. We presented the letter.
I want to make sure because we want to make sure that this is supposed to unfold somehow. It's
We
interesting.
did.
And do we mention the 6 or so other ladies that were supposed to be paid that weren't? I just
Yeah,
want to make sure.
I'll list the other
Okay.
names.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
It seems, I'm sorry, it seems like circular reasoning to me. If the
Mhm.
general is to be believed, then one of the problems that Danian presents is that he is not yet over the death of his brother. But if he is correct, and he is not only a part of this conspiracy, but potentially the head of it, it means that he's responsible for his brother's death. Because we put forward evidence to suggest that there was a payment given to him, given to his wife, in order to cover this up. Not only that, but also to the coroner in regards to listing it as a suicide, when in reality, it was a homicide. Which is it? Is he the villain or the victim? Or is it perhaps neither? Innocent, simply a victim of circumstance.
And a conspiracy to remove him from power.
And I wonder how the people will respond to potential martial law.
I wonder what that would do to the theater district's business
As well. And I give Twilight a little bit of a wink.
Janelle steps forward. As Lady Steward, Council. Well, before that happens, is there any more evidence you wish to present?
I think we've laid all of our cards on the table right now.
Very well. The council will now adjourn briefly for a moment of deliberation. I remind you that this special council needs only a 3-person majority by which to make its decrees and decisions.
Thank God the clerk's not on the council.
We shall await your return. And then all 5 of the members stand up and walk off.
I'm gonna watch each of their faces to see if I can
Roll perception
see
check.
if
Oh, here you go.
I am not good at perception, but I am going to try.
I'll
Oh,
go
he's
for it.
he's
I'll
the
go for
reader.
it.
I'm not going to do that. I don't know. Ooh.
21.
Woo!
21.
Yeah, mine's only 16. Give it to Cody.
Yeah.
You can see they are shaken. They were not expecting this.
Do I see? Was the girl you described in the room? That was not Hazel, correct?
No, you have not seen Hazel. No.
Okay, so we haven't
Yeah.
seen Hazel.
No. So, the council having left, you now turn and look, and you can see Commander Danium. Wow.
So I did it. I
It's
did it
late.
to you. I'm so
it's
sorry.
very late. It's very late. You see Commander Danium give you a look, and it's a slight smile out of the side.
Like,
You
thanks
kinda-
for trying.
Gives you a nod, and then his eyes sharpen and focus and look across at Yulf, and you can see now this feud is older than this courtroom.
Yeah. I
So,
picked up
so
on
what we're
that
looking
pretty
at
quickly.
is what we're looking at is cops versus military here.
Pretty much.
yeah.
Pretty much. And when the two are in such close proximity to each other, things happen. Yeah, it's likely you're betting that guards have captured soldiers and soldiers have captured guards, and a bit of a go around. Yeah, it doesn't look good between the two of them, to say the least.
Can I walk over to Danian?
Yeah. The guards at this point, they've kind of stood back. All of your irons have been removed. Yeah, there's
Is there
short of leaving the actual chamber, you can walk around in here for
is
a brief
there
moment.
a way for me to quietly ask him a question without? How confident am I that I won't be overheard?
This room, it was designed to let whispers carry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of the point. That being said, if you feel as though you could stealthily get the question off to him, you are being watched by the guards behind Danium as well as the steward,
So
who is.
yeah. So
You see her demeanor is very, very much so unsure at this moment. Whereas she started very cold, now you can see the concern and the questioning. She's thinking very rapidly.
This is Janelle, right?
This is Janelle Stewart,
Right.
the steward of Castle Dusk.
So, I just want to. I say to him, Commander, I know you to be a good man, and it is my prayer that this special council sees the same.
I hope so too. And regardless of what happens, Hazel told me that Donatus Flay is dead. He overdosed last night.
Interesting.
The shocker.
Someone is covering the tracks.
If you don't make it out of here, we will carry on in your stead.
I know they're outside the walls. Those eagles didn't just die off.
Agreed.
There was mutiny. They're out there somewhere.
Great.
We will stop whatever is befalling Kywind if we can.
Thank you.
And then I want to walk over to what's her first name? I said Stewart.
Janelle.
The last name?
Janelle.
Janelle.
Janelle Stewart.
So I'm gonna go over to her and bow slightly. Stay a respectful distance away, and bow slightly and say, "My lady."
Mr. Gaunt, or sorry, you gave the name of Gaunt, yeah. Mr. Gaunt, well met. I must say I was not expecting a presentation such as your group's.
You should have been there when we found it.
I can only imagine.
If I
What do
may,
you call yourselves, if I may? Obviously, you have some skill together.
Yes, it's kind of a new venture. We're workshopping some things.
Very well.
But if I may,
Need a nap.
Turpin, we're nothing.
I couldn't help but notice that when I was reading the accusations, and again, apologies for my brusqueness, but it seemed the right thing to do at the time, your reaction to those made against you hit you quite personally, more so than I think a person who bore any real guilt would feel. Am I incorrect in that?
I have been accused of such things, but I was also absolved.
Yes.
The claim was not good.
Yes.
So it is interesting that there would be some sort of second ploy at that, but no, my father, Urquhart, he recently passed, and I have been personless as to who to turn to and talk about the problems of this position. So thank you for
Well,
noticing.
If I may, as we said, our initial interest in this problem was the recovery of a small halfling boy named Franklin. We are still, of course, committed to this, but in order to do so, we are going to need a little bit more freedom around the city, and it seems that perhaps our needs somewhat align regarding this present problem.
Interesting.
If you could lend any aid to our cause, I'm certain we would be more than willing to lend aid to yours.
For sure to put rest to any other rumors. That is really what I was insinuating at the end of right before the council adjourned, that look at everything that we managed to accomplish in a little under 8 hours. And if we were to give actual freedom and a commission by
Resources.
the council itself.
Let me put it to you this way. Tomicus Mayhew is a coward. terrible excuse of a governor, and I very much so look forward to keeping him in check. In a silly kind of manner. I think that's part of why I'm so angered at the...
That you would be involved in keeping him in power?
Absolutely.
I'm looking at her going, she's dreaming.
16 for me.
16. She's hard to read.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but she kind of nods and says, "You know, it's interesting that you say that. I am very impressed. If this is off the record, I'm very impressed with the work that you've been able to do. If the council comes back saying that they do not believe you to be involved other than in the interest of our fair city, I will speak up."
I appreciate it.
It is most appreciated.
Very well.
Well, this is fun, guys.
Well,
Come to
you-
the
and you look lovely, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
About those badges.
Yeah, I'm working on it, Turpin. Give me some space.
That's what someone that was.
All right. So, that being said, it's just a few more minutes until eventually the small council returns.
That's quick. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's either
Small
or.
council.
It's not in the middle.
Have you reached a decision? Why, yes, we have, the Don Bishop says. Shall I take the vote altogether? Is it a unanimous one, or do I need to take poll of each individual vote? You will need to take roll. Very well.
Fingers crossed. Keep count here, guys.
In terms...
This is yay, this is nay.
Oh, this is
Yay,
it.
nay.
No.
There we go.
In terms of the suspected involvement of the 5 traveling companions to the conspiracy against the city, do you find them suspect or reliable? Miss Twyla. She leans forward. Reliable.
Reliable.
Mr. Broddard. Suspect.
Gee.
Miss Eliza. Reliable.
We got the
I always
women
liked
vote.
her.
The
I
women
always
vote.
liked her.
The women vote's been good for us. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Twilight.
Come on, Twilight. I tried to help you out here, buddy.
Suspect.
Oh, for crying out loud, you suck.
yeah. we killed people in this place. Yeah, I get it.
Mr.
Over
Starr.
here.
Your Eminence.
It's going to go. This is it. This is the vote right here.
He takes a look over at you. His eyes flash with this flare, and he goes, reliable.
There you go.
It's because I know. It's because I know he's a pervert.
Well then, the council has decided that the 5 individuals are to be released of suspect, and as such, I officially recommend that they would not only be acquitted of all of these suspects in future cases, we need to give them immunity in terms of their being willing to seek out the rest of this plot for us. Objection. I am not done yet, General. Your jurisdiction is outside of these walls. Mine is within this castle.
Ooh,
Nice.
take that.
2 double birds.
You want some aloe, buddy?
I ask that they be not only formally deputized within the Windwall Guard, but that they would be given special privilege as steward deputization as well. This would give them access to the city, and I will personally sponsor them, giving them access to Mr. Samich,
Ooh, we're
as well as special access to the Farplane gates, the Reverie gates.
See?
Hmm.
That's why you trust.
And lastly, quarters within Castle Dusk as well. that they might
Whoa.
be able to
Oh, cow.
look over all of their findings without any worry of exterior influence. And she looks back over towards Yulf yet again. If it pleases the council. The three reliables look at each other and nod, at which point you hear the gavel banged by Galbor far, far above, which echoes outward and says, "Very well. To these 5 individuals, you are no longer sequestered and are released. Thank you."
May we remain for Commander Danian's judgment.
The council kind of look at each other.
We promise to be quiet.
Janelle looks at you very, very seriously because she just stepped out big time for you and says, "Not a word."
I don't say anything. I nod. I nod aggressively.
Time to ask about dinner, Turpin. No, anyway, yeah, sorry, no.
If you've got to fart, hold it in.
Now, to the special council. In regards to Commander Danium Kane and his potential involvement within a conspiracy against the city, I ask you once more, and we'll take roll. She nods and smiles now towards Verlick Star. Whether you believe him to be suspect or reliable.
He's a gunner.
That's the
Twyla,
spirit.
reliable. Mr. Broadwood Silverpick, suspect.
I don't like the dwarf.
Mr. Mythilus Twilight,
I don't like this guy either.
suspect. Miss Eliza, suspect.
Yeah.
Crap.
He's out.
And Mr. Verlick Star, even though we have now reached, he says, suspect.
One. He got one reliable. We got to get this guy out of prison, y'all.
Who was the reliable again?
Twyla.
Twyla.
Twyla Shadowhand
Yeah.
of the Dusk, the Temples of Dusk.
Jeff, I think you're
Okay.
right. I think she's on our side.
I think so too.
Hope so.
Very well. In that case, Commander Danium, I hereby formally announce that you are going to be charged. There will be a criminal investigation into all of your findings, all of your actions within the Windwell Guard. This council will appoint over it, with my oversight, a replacement for you, temporarily, to take charge of the Windwall Guard in your stead. And if you are found innocent, then you will be released and potentially be able to go back to your duties. In such case, I am sorry. Guards. And they come forward, clap the irons back on him, and begin to escort him out, in which he just gives you
Yeah.
a nod.
Mhm.
So when he looks at Elias, Elias is going to give him a sad smile and wink.
I'm watching Wolf.
Yulf
Nope.
takes this moment to turn back up to the council and says, "Thank you." At which point Eliza says, "General, thank you for your investigation. Do we have anything to be worried about exterior-wise outside of our walls?" "No. We will ensure that that continues." He looks over at you and then turns and leaves the courtroom.
Oh,
I
no.
lean
Our
over to Cal.
investigation's going outside of the walls.
Yeah. I lean over and whisper to Cal. I said, "Looks like you're going to have to fight that half orc.
Can't wait.
I believe in you. I think you can take him."
Not right now.
Is this, if
Either
the-
way,
Okay.
it is there as the sun continues to beat down on that central platform that you no longer stand on. You share a collective look and enjoy a new fragrance. A smell of citrus and vanilla.
Ooh. Smells good.
And as the council stands and begins to leave, Janelle begins to walk over towards you. She sighs. And as she reaches your circle, we are going to close this session, that we might begin at that point next week.
Well done, fellas.
Good job, guys.
We
To our
got
audience.
deputized for reals, y'all.
Yep. To our audience, thank you
Gosh.
so much for listening in. This was a super fun session.
Great job,
Do
Brendan.
you think we get?
Well, I know I'm not a lawyer. I'm no legal expert. I have no proclivity for it whatsoever, but it was really fun, and thank you all for playing along with it. So,
Do you think,
That was
guys? Do you think we get
amazing.
dental?
oh boy. All right. Either way.
Thank you, Brendan, for that.
That was fun. That was really
dope.
fun, guys. Yeah. Super good job. And that being said, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen of the fan. If it pleases the audience, we'll save you a spot by the fire.